Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual. Unusually well. Let's head back to Oaklawn Park, Anthony. Take a look at the stretch run of race number 5 as we get those official results. Actually heading to the winner's circle, and it was the 4, Epworth, breaking her maiden, Randy Morse, and John Geraldo getting it done, dominating on the front end.
Wasn't really a lot of form to go off of in this race, and the one race that kind of stuck out was the race this filly ran 2 starts back, and you felt like if she was going to be able to get back to that effort, she was going to get the job done. She did. John Geraldo climbed back aboard after a little bit of a disunion last time out and was able to just make every pole and winning one. The aggression got the job done in here. Was a big part of it. A dwindling length when it was all said and done as Jerry Dawn at 10-1 was making up some ground late, but Epworth was able to build up a big enough lead.
Yeah, and the dropping class obviously helped this horse. You look at a horse that was 46-1 and 66 the last 2. Take a look at race number 6 coming up. It's going to kick off the late pick 4 at 5.5 furlongs, and it feels like the 2, Sinner's Sin and the 4, KC Rocket, will be vying for favoritism in this race. Sinner's Sin took a tough beat last time. Sinner's Sin, trained by Ron Moquett.
Yeah, he is he's quick. He's a quick horse. 21 and change, 44 and change last time. You'd have to think that, we talked about the distance in the feature today. You have to think that the less half furlong in here is going to help this horse's cause immeasurably. There's some other speed in here, though. They're probably not as fast as Sin, but there's some other speed in here.
He was involved in a very quick pace last time out. Ron Moquett, the favorite, was the trainer, of course, of the well-known and well-regarded and much-loved Whitmore, who at Keeneland a couple of years ago won the Breeders' Cup Sprint. And it felt like sort of a career achievement, a well-earned achievement for a horse that danced every dance.
Yeah, he deserved that Breeders' Cup. It was an impressive effort. He won countless times down at Oaklawn Park, his home. They renamed the barn. He was in the Count Fleet barn. They've renamed the barn after him. He has his own day on Saturday, and now he has his own stakes race as well.
He does. He won the 4-go at Saratoga over City of Light as well. But, of course, Whitmore, he is a legend, particularly down in Arkansas, and we had a chance to catch up with his trainer, Ron Moquett.
These days, Whitmore is taking up residence at 10 Mile Creek Training Center, about 20 miles from Oaklawn.
Everything, it has to be his idea. I don't care whether it's loading a trailer, loading the gates, go to the paddock. Everything has to be like he's asking us if he can do it. Because if we say, you're gonna do this, he flexes on you and says, no, I don't want to, and so it's my idea.
Things are noticeably different in Ron Moquett's barn at Oaklawn. Stall number 29 is no longer housed by the Eclipse Award winner, who bankrolled $4.5 million during his career.
But the old man's gonna do it! It's Whitmore in the Breeders' Cup Sprint!
Oaklawn has renamed the Count Fleet barn after the gelding, Whitmore's longtime home in Hot Springs the past 6 years. And on March 19th, Oaklawn celebrates his accomplishments on Whitmore Day. The card will feature the inaugural Whitmore Stakes, formerly called the Hot Springs Stakes, a race Whitmore won a record 4 times.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be, I'll be there with the rest of the people showing appreciation for all that he's done and sit back and look at the accomplishments and how he's affected people, and it'll be good to recognize him.
The big question is, how involved will the headstrong gelding be on Whitmore Day?
Maybe go up there and let Laura ride him out with the horses in post parade, if we can. If he's not ready mentally or whatever, then we'll just bring him up there so everybody can see him.
And the bigger question, what's next for Whitmore beyond 2022?
One thing for sure is it's with us. The path for sure isn't known, whether he's a jumper or a lead horse or just, in charge of grazing all he wants all day. It doesn't matter. He's going to be doing something with us. We hope that he could be a barn pony, because that would be cool for people to come by and get to hang out and visit him and feed him peppermints and him get to go everywhere with us. But if not, then we would like for him to do something to stay busy, and I think he's perfectly healthy enough to do it. It's just whether or not mentally he's okay with going that slow. going to blow up again in a second.
Always fun to talk about horses like Whitmore, such an important part of our game. Amazing career record, winning over a third of his career starts, first and second, 28 times and 43 times. A horse, the earnings, $4.5 million, they are what they are. It's the ability to show up in such a high percentage of his races, and when he showed up, he was either first or second the majority of the time.
Amazing. He was in the Kentucky Derby. People forget that he ran in the Derby. My buddy Phil, Ron actually gave Phil his halter from that run in the Triple Crown for his 50th birthday last summer up at Saratoga. Yeah, he was an amazing horse, and you can see he still has that streak in him that, you know, a lot of horses will leave the racetrack and they'll kind of calm down and simmer down a little bit. He still has that competitive streak in him, still acting up a little bit, and hopefully he can get back to the racetrack. A lot of these horses are retired horses. Lava Man's the first one that comes to mind. The geldings come back to the track, and they're able to make a career there. You hope he's able to maybe get a little bit of a better behavior and get back to the racetrack.
Speaking of competitive streaks, he's not riding anymore, but he's involved with riders, and he's spending his first Thursday covering the action at Oaklawn Park. How's the weather today, Gary?
That's about 75 degrees. It's a beautiful day, St. Patrick's Day. It was a beautiful morning also. Getting to Whitmore Day, well, Whitmore is his own man, and he's currently is housed in his own barn, Whitmore Barn, and he was making it perfectly clear this morning that it's his barn and it's his way. Oddly enough, I saw him this morning with Laura on his back. He had a leprechaun hat between his ears. How they got that on him, I have no idea. He was standing down below the main racetrack where the entrance and exit of the racetrack is, just as the break time was coming on, and that is immediately below the starting gate. Starting gate made some noise, and Whitmore kind of took a look back and he started firing, just like he did when he would go into the starting gate. He always put on a show, would be a little bossy about when he wanted to go into the starting gate. So what happened, Laura was trying to get him back to the barn. He started backing up the other direction because he didn't want to go that direction. So all of a sudden, the lead pony, the head outrider, came down the ramp, went up next to him, and he allowed him to pet him on the head, but that's all that was allowed. So I talked to Jen Hoyt, Director of Publicity, here this morning about what this day is supposed to be like. And when I say supposed to be, we don't know how it's going to go, because he's meant to follow the horses for the walkover, for the Whitmore, and then as those horses go into the paddock, he's supposed to go into the winner's circle, which if they make it that far, I'm sure he's going to love going into the winner's circle. Going to allow kids, people to take his picture. Then the plan is to take him out on the racetrack before the horses exit the paddock, come onto the racetrack. If all goes according to plan, then he will lead the horses over and out. They'll gallop ahead of him. He'll go over to the 3/4 mile chute where the exit is, go off the track. He'll go back to the Whitmore barn. But they're playing to Whitmore's style like you always do. He's going to do things his way, but something tells me on race day he's going to show up and he'll get done what he wants to get done. They'll get him over to the paddock one way or the other to the winner's circle to get pictures. So I'm anxious to see if he shows up with Laura on his back or if he shows up being led by the lead pony himself. Guys?
Thanks, Gary. Well, one thing we know about Whitmore, he knows how to find the winner's circle. And the first running, and you can't say the first running, right, because obviously it's been renamed for him, but the first time the race is run is Whitmore. An interesting race. And you've got Bob's Edge coming into this race off a tremendous performance last time, but he is, of course, a big price last time. It was a big improvement for him, and I think you have to ask yourself, how confident are you he's going to be able to reproduce that effort?
As a wise man once said to me, last time was the time, Mr. Serling. Yeah, you know, you wonder how much pace he's going to get in here. This Saturday, got a little bit of a better setup, I thought, last time out. I don't think there's as much pace signed on. And yeah, I mean, 7-1 last time. He's the 5-2 morning line favorite now. He's destined to be favored in here. I don't think there's any new shooters from that King Cotton last time out that were not in that King Cotton, I should say, last time out, that are going to take enough money to grab the favoritism role from Bob's Edge. And as the favorite, you know, he's kind of the horse I think you want to put the X on and try to beat on Saturday. He can win, obviously, but I think, yeah, you see, look, he's a picture of consistency as well. He's no Whitmore, but 5 for 12. He's hit the board in 5 starts at Oaklawn, all 7 at the 6 furlong distance. So, yeah, he's a nice little horse. He just, as the favorite, I think he's up against it a little bit on
You
Saturday.
say he's no Whitmore. He's lightly raced, but he's won a higher percentage of his starts at this point. And he is a horse that maybe has a chance to take that step forward and be a player in a sprint division. Could be pretty tough this year. Tulane's trust interests me a little bit, and I also think Hollis will benefit from drawing outside, Anthony. I don't think he was happy inside, and his races with outside posts are his better efforts.
I couldn't agree with you more. He has 2 really good efforts at Oaklawn Park in 2 of his last 3 races, sandwiched around that toe stub and the King Cotton, where he couldn't get the job done with Bob's Edge. I agree with you. And he has a little bit more speed than Bob's Edge does in a race that there's not a lot of speed in here.
Bob Edge could find himself well back in the field in this race.
He could find himself further
and as
back.
you say, not necessarily that quick a pace. An interesting race. Looking forward to covering that this weekend. A lot of action still to come this weekend, but we've still got the second race coming up at Sam Houston. We've got 4 more coming up at Oaklawn. We are just getting started, and we're going to be on the turf for race number 2 at Sam Houston. And I thought that post positions did play a big role in this race, Anthony, because horses like the 3, the 8, the 9, and the 10 all feel like players. But it does seem to me, at least, the 3 Go Speed Racer Go might be the one who's able to get the best position because of his inside post.
Yeah, you would imagine that with the number 2 Speed Effect, who's your 3-to-1 favorite, maybe he could just follow him around there.
Sunrise Kitten going out 11-to-1. The number 2 horse, Speed Effect. Carl Broberg has this horse with the leading rider.
Just one time on turf back in February of 2020. He didn't run well, but now he's back on the grass for Mr. Broberg.
3 is Go Speed Racer Go.
Yeah, he's supposed to follow the 2 Speed Effect to get a good trip in here. And of the contenders, like you said, probably works out the best trip with the inside draw.
The Influencer, second off a layoff.
I actually jumped him. They went to aligned interest instead.
Good call.
Aligned interest 1 for 4 on turf in his career, but he spent a lot of time at Delta Downs as of late.
Brock on by coming off the claim by Ray Ashford for this race. Moderate success off the claim for this trainer.
Yeah, Ray's having a good meet down there, 25%. This horse has a win on the turf, but it was taken from Carl Broberg last time out.
Another horse off the claim. Claim from Carl Broberg is the 8 More Like It going out for J.R. Caldwell.
Yeah, we say that a lot. Caldwell winning at over 20%. This horse is a win and a third from his 2 starts. He was up here for a while in the Big A.
The 9 Gold Vermilion will go out. Rodolfo Guerra riding this horse for Dallas Keene, who won the first.
Yeah, looking to sweep the double. This horse ran well off the little bit of the break last time out. I wouldn't be surprised if this horse got a big piece of it today.
Drew Power, a deep closer from post number 10, will round out the field.
Barn has been good from a limited number of starters, 3 for 8 with 3 third-place finishes. And the fact that he's drawn outside doesn't affect the others as much because he doesn't have any speed. He'll probably just drop over.
Well, if you enjoyed the post parade at Sam Houston, here's another one. The 1 Sparty Sense, Mike Maker, Francisco Arrieta having a big meet.
Second off a 9-month layoff, gets a rider switch to Arrieta. He found himself against a tough bunch, but he's taking some money at 5-to-1.
Horse to beat, the favorite, the 2 Sinner's Sin, Ron Moquett and Daniel Cabrera.
Speed of the speed. The blinkers sharpened him up last time. Cuts back a half furlong. That should help his cause.
A lot of running practical jokes out there in his first crop. The number 3, On Your Market, Get Set, Go. Long shot here.
Yeah, long shot. Showed speed against claimers last time back into a special weight event today.
In from Fairgrounds for Al Stall is Casey Rocket. John Geraldo looking to win back-to-back.
Pair of blinkers go on off a couple of races off an 8-month layoff, both in turf sprints at the Fairgrounds.
Number 5, a long shot, Boat Song. Actually taking some money at 7-to-1 for McLean Robertson and Ray Lou Gutierrez.
Another one getting a pair of blinkers. This horse's work tab has been sharp since January 2nd. We'll see if this horse has speed with the blinkers on.
Back to the dirt off the layoff for Rare Stripe, Federico Villafranco.
Yeah, big price. I thought this horse would be an even bigger price. This horse hit the board a few times. See if this horse can cut back to sprinting.
Got dirt races that aren't that bad. The 7 is Stainless Steel. Joel Rosario riding for Steve Asmussen.
First off, the trainer changing an 11-month layoff last time. Looked like he needed the race. We'll see if he runs better second time.
He better of. The 8 is the first of 2 first-time stars. Alpha Whiskey. Bought this one at the 2-year-old sale for a lot of money. I bet this one can run, Anthony.
Yeah, this horse, there's a little buzz on this horse. This horse can run a little bit. Lone Sibling was 0 for 5.
The number 9, Ace High Royal, is another first-time starter, not taking much money and not much pedigree.
The quote-unquote other Moquett runner in here, I found it interesting that this horse's fastest work was from the pole as opposed to from the starting gate.
Well, the house horse is the number 2, Sinner's Sin, and if you bet him last time, you're still crying at 16-to-1. The question for Gary is, do you want to come back at 2-to-1 today?
I don't want to, Andy. Not drawn down in the 2 post position. Listen, he's fast. but he's not necessarily the fastest horse in here. You look at the 7 horse, Stainless Steel for Steve Asmussen, Joel Rosario. He was heavily bet last time out with Joel aboard. He showed good early speed, but he faded late. I mean, stopped bad. He was $1.90 on the dollar that day and faded, but I think he's going to affect the way that this race is run for Center Sin. Listen, one thing I've learned about Randy Morris this winter, watching him play this game, he's not afraid to bet some money on these first-time starters. He's had a lot of good luck with John Court. They're hitting at a high percentage when they team up together. Randy just won the previous race. It was an Arkansas-bred maiden race, led over a winner. Wasn't the best race in the world, but the horse came away and won good, and I've got a feeling he bet a few dollars on that one. I've got a feeling that Alpha Whiskey, the 8 horse, is being, well, he's getting bet on right now. He's 12-1 on the morning line, 9-2 right now. So for race setup, what I'm imagining, and that is not always right, what I imagine, but just from a jockey's point of view and the way I handicap races, I would love to be sitting on Alpha Whiskey for Randy Morris right now, but it's John Court that's aboard, guys.
Thanks a lot, Gary. Alpha Whiskey, a lot of money to be paid for a son of Divining Rod. Must have worked well at the sale, but let's head back to Sam Houston. Anthony, what are you doing here as we head to the gate for the race number 2?
They're crossing over onto the turf course here. I thought, Andy, of the horses that had the best chance in here, I liked the 9 Gold Vermilion. Thought the race he had off the layoff was useful last time. I thought he'd be a little bit of a better price because of the draw. Rodolfo Guerra did a good job with this horse last time. He's going to need a little pace, and I think that, the favorite in here, the number 2 Speed Effect, has that one turf race. It was over 2 years ago. I guess it's hard to really judge off that because the horse disappeared for 17 months then. And he's supposed to be the speed in here. I just wonder if that's enough, and do you really want to take a horse that has a big question mark as far as surface goes at that price when you have some others in here who have already proven himself on the grass?
I think the 3 is a horrendous favorite here at 2-1. I agree that he is the speed here, but his one grass race was absolutely atrocious. Better horses or not, I have no idea why you'd want to bet this horse. I am shocked at the price that the number 3 Go Speed Racer Go is. He's getting back to the right surface in here. I don't understand why this horse isn't taking any money.
Yeah, puzzling. I kind of thought the 3 and the 9 would be flip-flopped on the tote board.
Or similar prices at the very least.
Certainly not half the, Gold Vermilion's half the price of Gold Speed Racer Go. And you and I talked about this briefly. Go Speed Racer Go is supposed to get the better trip of the 3 or 4 horses you and I have kind of anointed the runners in here, right? Speed Effect's supposed to leave, and Aram Diego is supposed to just kind of follow Rye Eccleberry with Speed Effect and try to work out a position. And one Sunrise Kitten doesn't really have any speed. So Go Speed Race Go, now he's down at 5-1, so the money's coming in a little bit late here from 7 to 5.
That was partly my action.
Partly your action, okay.
Not fully my action, but partly my action. I bet him to win and use him at exactas with the 8 and 9 in here. I think that the 2, Speed Effect, is a terrible favorite in this race. You've got one turf race. He didn't do any running. He doesn't have pedigree. With the second family, there actually is some turf. Maybe he'll run better. Maybe being able to get the lead will do the trick for him in this race. And he is an exchange rate. Who's a Danzig, who's been a very effective turf sire, horse trained by Wayne Lucas, but I got to bet against that horse. Maybe he just gets to the front and he doesn't look back, though.
Yeah, it's hard for me. I like Gold Vermilion. It's hard for me to take that price on him at 5-2. I thought he'd be a little bit of a better price.
He's got to get that position going the first turn, and with a 7-8 inside of him, both of them that are a little bit forward, he could get hung out a little wide. Well, we'll find out what happens. Nick Tamaro with the call of race number 2 at Sam Houston.
Second race lineup. Drew Power moves in, all set. And they're on their way. It was a very slow start for Aligned Interest. Go Speed Racer Go was not out well either. Gold Vermilion was out very well. Speed Effect too. And Brock on by between them as they flatten now and run towards the first turn. It is Speed Effect under a tight hold by Rye Eichelberry, leading it by 3/4 of a length. Brock on by now moves up alongside. It's a break of 3 back to Gold Vermilion in tandem on the inside with Sunrise Kitten. A length and a half to Go Speed Racer Go, saving all the ground. The Influencer is between rivals, more like it on the outside. A break of 2 then to the back of the pack. We have the slow starting Aligned Interest and the late running Drew Power. 23.72 for the opening quarter. And on the front end, Speed Effect has deferred to Brock On By, who leads it by 1.5 lengths as they straighten away for the run down the backstretch. Sunrise Kitten tracks from a comfortable spot in third, 4 wide on the course. Here comes the bid from Gold Vermilion already, who's advanced on the outside. Just in behind them, Go Speed Racer Go, getting a garden trip along the inside. 1.5 lengths to the Influencer, just to the inside of More Like It. A length then to Drew Power, who is asked to go and is doing so along the inside. Big break back to Aligned Interest. Into the far turn, Brock On By with Speed Effect, his partner from the start. 4 wide, Gold Vermilion is launching. Go Speed Racer Go, just waiting on a place to go. 1.5 lengths then Drew Power, More Like It, trying to stoke up a rally. Aligned Interest is underway. They're coming to the top of the stretch. Brock On By has put away Speed Effect. Here comes Go Speed Racer Go, cleared for takeoff off the inside. Now targeting Brock On By. Farther back, Drew Power, who's gotten a sweet run through along the rail. It's still Brock On By. Drew Power coming through between horses. A late threat, Aligned Interest from deep in the pack. Brock On By is still there, keeps chopping wood. Brock On By, yards to go, scores. Drew Power second. Then came Go Speed Racer Go, Aligned Interest, Sunrise Kitten. Farther back, More Like It, the Influencer, Gold Vermilion, and Speed Effect.
Big improvement off the claim by Brock On By. Got the lead and never relinquished it. Perfect trip for Go Speed Racer Go. Not good enough. Heading into the gate for race number 6 at Oaklawn. Vic Stauffer with a call.
High Royal. They're at the post. They're off. KC Rocket sent out by John Geraldo to the front from Stainless Steel and Sparty Sense. On your mark, get set, go is next, then Rare Stripe and Alpha Whiskey to the outside and Ace High Royal. Sinner's Sin is second to last, and the trailer is Boat Song, and the leader is Sparty Sense. Sparty Sense has taken over the lead from Stainless Steel in second. Then comes On Your Mark, Get Set, Go at the rail, Sinner's Sin. The Sinner's Sin is now a joint third. To the outside in KC Royal, further out Boat Song. 3.5 back to Ace High Royal. Alpha Whiskey is second to last now, and the trailer is Rare Stripe, and the leader is Sparty Sense. Sparty Sense just in front. From Stainless Steel, KC Rocket 3 wide and on the move. Sinner's Sin is only just a length behind, and look at him split horses and come on. 4 across the track, Sinner's Sin. Sparty Sense, Ace High Royal. Here comes Ace High Royal in the center of the racetrack, and he's running a big one in his debut for Giroux. Sinner's Sin and Sparty Sense. These two, Sinner's Sin, Sparty Sense at the rail, Ace High Royal to the outside, Sparty Sense, Sinner's Sin, Ace High Royal, Sparty Sense just in front. Sparty Sense beat Ace High Royal. Sinner's Sin was third, and Rare Stripe finished fourth.
Well, when Sinner's Sin didn't break, the one Sparty Sense ended up being the speed on the inside. No answer from Stainless Steel coming into the stretch. Good split by Sinner's Sin. He just wasn't able to close. He's probably a horse that needs to be in front. The firster, Ace High Royal, made what looked to be a winning move, lugging it a little bit in the stretch. You can see Florent Giroux struggling with him, but Sparty Sense, wire to wire.
Hold the horse beats the 2 3-year-olds, and Sparty Sense in a race that looked like there was a lot of speed. Francisco Arrieta, who you mentioned was having a really good meet, Andy, he was aggressive, right? I thought there'd be a little bit more aggression shown by Stainless Steel and Joel Rosario, KC's Rocket, a lot of horses. Obviously, the race complexion changes when Sinner's Sin doesn't really break, but trying to put this horse on the front end, it's kind of it's hard to do. And give credit to Arrieta, got the job done. This horse took some money too. This horse was 5-1 most of the way and got the job done.
Well, you know, when you have an inside post and you see the guy outside you with speed not go, it's one of the reasons that Arrieta is having as good a meet as he's having. And our crack staff is so good that they must have known that Francisco Arrieta was going to win this race, because when we come back from the break, we'll hear a little bit more about Francisco Arrieta, a rider who spent some time in New York in different capacities, but is really having a great meet down at Oaklawn Park. America's Day at the Races will continue when we come back.
Good Magic's in front. Good Magic pulls away from Solomini. Good Magic's gonna win his first race, and he's gonna do it in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Good Magic to the front of the field in the Toyota Bluegrass to win it. The champ is back. Good Magic in a good-looking performance.
800,000, 75, 875, 8.5. Pete, 775,000. Thank you.
Magic's in front.
Who you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Naira Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Naira Bets.
Introducing a stallion, as top class as they come. In 22 career starts, he won or placed in 12 graded stakes, competing in 15 grade ones, earning over $1.7 million. His undisputed speed is evidenced by 7 100-plus Spire speed figures, a 3-time grade 1 winner, Raging Bull.
This season at Oaklawn, we've got more of everything. More of the top thoroughbreds in the world. More days of live racing. And the largest purses in our history. All at a completely reimagined Oaklawn. Come be a part of this historic season at Arkansas's only casino resort.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by Naira Bets. Naira Bets, where you can bet any track, anywhere, anytime, as my friend Anthony Stabile well knows.
We have over 300 tracks, Andy.
Yes, we do. Get started at NairaBets.com and download the app. Heading back to the stretch run of the Oaklawn 6, it was a game performance on the inside by the number 1, Sparty Sense, breaking his maiden.
Yep, like you said, you see that Sinner's Sin doesn't break. Francisco Arrieta puts this one on the front end. Sinner's Sin makes the run. The other, quote-unquote, other Ron Moquett runner, the first-time starter, came with a big run, the number 9, Ace High Royal, but could not get to the 5-1 winner, Sparty Sense.
Yeah, you feel like if Laurent Giroux had been able to, not his fault, I mean, he was doing a good job. If he was able to run straight, he may have gotten the money. And their Sinner's Sin will be back to fight another day. He needs to break. He needs to be in front that horse. But we mentioned Francisco Arrieta, terrific ride in race number 6. Well, he's been having a terrific meet. He will be riding the 3, the heavy favorite, Acadi's Verb, in race number 7, excuse me. 4 to 5 seems a little bit short.
That's a crazy price. That's a way too short.
That
of
trainer
a price.
though, that trainer Chris Hartman, his horses are running extremely well at this Oaklawn meet. Scary guy to bet against, but Francisco Arrieta, with that win already on today's show, he's been having a tremendous meet at Oaklawn Park. Let's find out a little bit more about a rider who's been around a long time, but really starting to put it together.
Francisco Arrieta's childhood dream was to become a jockey.
Because my first time when I see a horse, man, I fell in love. What a beautiful feeling, you know.
Arrieta, a native of Venezuela, moved his tack to the United States in 2014.
When I started here, it was hard for me, you know, to get a chance. I don't speak any English and I don't know nobody. It was pretty hard. I have to gallop like for 2.5 years and ride a couple horses, you know, it was really hard.
He would need a strong belief in himself because this dream would require plenty of patience. Over a 3-year span from 2015 to 2017, Arrieta rode 210 races, winning just 3 times. Yes, 3 years, just 3 winners.
For sure, I work every day, you know, almost don't no day off, you know, working hard.
But patience, work ethic, and faith in God would lead Arrieta to finally break through as leading rider at smaller tracks off the beaten path.
I was in New York at the time. I started working for Robertino Dodoro, galloping, and I galloped for him like a year, and I asked him for ride horse, you know, and the opportunity didn't come in New York, so they moved to Arizona, so I asked him to give me the opportunity. So finally I moved with my family to Arizona and I started riding over there, and that was unbelievable after that.
It's going to be Senor Friday to win the Turf Paradise Derby.
He's one of the hardest workers. You know, he's a very good worker, got a good attitude. He's a good rider. He's a kid that started right from the bottom up. paid his dues, and it was just 3-4 years ago where he was galloping and picking up claimed horses for us at Saratoga during the summer to make extra money. So he's come a long way in a short period. Like I said, he's a kid that started right from the bottom, so got to give guys like him a lot of credit.
Then Arrieta came to Oaklawn for the first time in 2021, and he won 50 races, finishing third in the jockey standings. On the year, Arrieta's mounts earned $5.5 million, compared to $62,000 just 4 years earlier.
I like Arkansas. You know, it's a nice place, nice people around here. I used to be happy to be here, you know, and it's not hard to ride in this racetrack, you know, it's easy.
He also recorded his first Oaklawn Stakes victory in The Bachelor, aboard Jackson Traveler for Hall of Fame trainer Steve Asmussen.
Well, I just remember that was a nice horse. He just break and go to the lead. That was an easy winner, you know, nice horse.
Jackson Traveler beat the gate and beats The Bachelor. Jackson Traveler in front.
For the boy who started riding in Venezuela at age 16, it's been a long, winding 16-year journey.
About 4 or 5 years, I was, Mom, I want to be a rider. She said, no. I told her, let me be a rider. I want to be a champion, you know. Don't worry about it. It took me 10 years to win my first title, leading rider. 10 years, working hard, no day off, no vacation or nothing, you know. So, but here I am.
Francisco Arrieta having a real breakout meet there. You know, you keep saying, as they go further, Ricardo Santana is going to pick up steam. He's going to pass Cabrera. He's going to pass Arrieta. Well, Anthony, there's only about a month and a half left in the meet, and there's no stopping those two guys up top. Santana may pick them up, but a tremendous meet for really both Arrieta and Cabrera.
Yeah, they'll both make Santana work for it. Because, like you said, they really haven't cooled off, Andy. It wasn't like either of them went on one of these Arad Ortiz Jr. runs where they won.
It's more like Luis Saez at Saratoga last year. They've just been consistent.
Yep, just a grind and consistency, and they both do great jobs. I remember Francisco Arrieta around here. You know, those numbers didn't lie. He has improved by leaps and bounds, and he's now one of the leading riders down at Oaklawn Park.
Yeah, it's a competitive colony, and they're really doing well, and it's nice to see, and a nice feature there. So much more good stuff coming up. Sam Houston coming up at race number 3 coming at Sam Houston. We've still got 4 more races there, including 2 more on the turf. America's Day at the Races, Oaklawn Park, Sam Houston down in Texas. We'll be back in just a moment.
Start spreading the news. If you're looking to win in New York, then breed in New York. To War Dancer, the millionaire son of Warfront, and New York's #1 sire of 3-year-olds. Breed to a proven performer, the #1 second crop sire at the Saratoga meet with multiple winners at Belmont and Aqueduct. Earn double the New York Breeders' Awards and participate in the New York Stallion Series with $2 million in purses. War Dancer, proud to stand in New York. Visit wardancerstud.com.
For the first time I ever entered the gates of Xalapa, at first I was pretty nonchalant. I've seen a lot of farms, and I came here and the gates opened, and for me it was magical. It was like something I've never seen before. You know, the goal has always been to sort of try to have a vibrant thoroughbred farm, a bucolic, unique setting, respectful of all the buildings, everything in the past. It's a bit eclectic because Mr. Sims, one of the original owners of the farm, bought a horse from Europe called Prince Palatine, who I think is the third grandsire of Prince Quillo, a very prominent horse in Europe. And the horse died in a barn fire, and he said, well, no horse will ever die here in a fire again. So everything he built was stone and concrete, which today the challenge is that first in craftsmanship, availability of materials, and the expense would be impossible. So everything is here is done in stone. Our primary goal is obviously to be a great thoroughbred farm, to be the best we can be, stand the greatest stallions, raise the best horses. I believe the land gives us this opportunity. All our neighbors have been voices of the past of greatness. It's beautiful, but what are we here to see? Midnight Pursue or Take Charge Brandy, or here's a yearling by Tappet, and here's a yearling by Into Mischief, and well, it's beautiful, and you're here to see Curlin. Beautiful, and you're here to see Ghost Sapper. He's an old veteran, but a great sire, great broodmare sire. Kitten's Joy has been 8 or 9 consecutive years the leading turf sire. Another great horse. Very excited about Army Mule, undefeated horse that we own with St. Elias. They're yearlings this year. Good Magic yearlings this year. Champion son of Curlin. I view the Stallion Barn as a NFL, NHL, college, any kind of team. Constant recruitment, try to get the best athlete you can. There's a great past, there's a great present, and hopefully there's a great future.
America's Day at the Races is brought to you in part by Hillendale at Xalapa. And boy, just looking at those pictures and what I've heard about it, it's a really special place. Hope to get down there and check it out one day and thank our friends at Hillendale. Cheltenham, special tomorrow, 11 a.m. I think Maggie Wolfendale is flying out. Otherwise, maybe we could have gotten her on the show, but we'll be covering the Cheltenham Gold Cup at 11 o'clock Eastern Time on FS2 tomorrow, 1-hour show, 11 o'clock till noon on FS2 Cheltenham. Some nice pictures of Cheltenham. Saw some pictures of Maggie actually down at Cheltenham, having a good time. Looks like a lot of fun. Well, been a little bit of delays happening at Sam Houston, so it feels like we may get the 7th at Oaklawn Park up next.
Yes.
The 3 at Cotty's Verve continues to be heavily favored. Francisco Arrieta riding for Chris Hartman, who is having one heck of a meet.
He sure is. I just wanted to touch on Cheltenham. I've bet 267 of the 300-plus tracks we have. I'll add 268 tomorrow morning, Andy.
All right.
Yeah, Arrieta, Cotty's Verve, and Chris Hartman. His horses have been running really well. This is a short price, though, isn't it? I know there's a horse that was supposed to take some money in here, 3-1 on the morning line, and the second choice on the morning line did come out of here, the number 4 Major Attraction, who was 7-2. So I understand some of the money moving
These
over
horses
to the
were never going to be the same price, though.
No,
That's a bad
never.
morning line. This horse was always. These Chris Hartman horses are getting bet, and they're getting bet for a reason.
But prohibitive?
I'm not saying 4 to 5. I would have made him 8 to 5 morning line, to be honest with you here. Personally, looked like the horse to beat by a lot. I guess the 7 Englander. Do you see concern you as potentially the speed in this race?
I actually like a horse in this race, not named Cotty's Verve, who we can get to. Yeah, Englander, you would imagine with Edwin Gonzalez is going to try to steal this on the front end. Call of Honor, who's drawn in post 2 here. First start for Scott Young. Ramon Vasquez is going to climb aboard. I would imagine he's going to be forward as well. They're the same price right now, and I would think that's the thinking is one of these two. Englander's probably a little faster, but maybe Call of Honor tries to protect his position. The last time Ramon rode this horse, he wasn't far from the pace, and he got the job done in a big way. We'll see if he's a little aggressive.
Gets $10,000 non-winners at 2 lifetime, a little bit lesser than these. So who is the big Stabile opinion here?
I like the 9 Sports Fan here. First time for Carl Broberg. You know, Broberg's horses, at one point at this meet, Broberg was 2 for 40-something. And since he's gone 12 for 30-something. So the barn's really picked up. He claimed this horse over Robertino Diodoro off an equipment change. The blinkers went on last time. This horse didn't run 2 steps at even money. And kind of made, I shouldn't say 2 steps, he kind of made up very minimal ground late. Now he gets first-time Broberg. The blinkers come right off. I know this horse's races at Oaklawn haven't been very good, but I'm looking to see if this horse can wake up at a price. He's 8-1 now.
The stats on horses claimed from Robertino Diodoro at Oaklawn are very, very bad. In general, he's a very, very tough trainer to claim from, and he is a horse that was claimed at even money in a $10,000 non-winners of 3 lifetime race, and now he's moving up to a $20,000 race. Now listen, he's 7-1. If you like him, you should bet him. I'm going to have to respectfully disagree.
Okay. His
best races to me came from Remington Park. Of what I've seen at Oaklawn, that Remington form is just not been reproduced here. I'm not clever here, though I'll be honest with you. You've got 3 7-1s and an 8-1. I think Englander, who probably clears Call of Honor, he is faster, maybe Call of Honor, as you say, gets that aggressive ride last time against him. I think Englander is the most likely upsetter, but I'm not going to try to beat the favorite. You are, though, with the number 9 horse going off the claim for Carl Broberg. Let's head back to Sam Houston. Anthony, we are all over the place. They're back in the dirt for race number 3 at Sam Houston. The one is Comedian.
He's getting back to the dirt as well after 2 of his last 3 on the turf. 3rd place finish behind who'll likely be the favorite in here. 2 starts back.
Yeah, and that favorite that you mentioned, the number 2, Dobbins G, goes out for Freddie Manrique.
Just 2 starts since December of 2019. They were both blowout victories. We'll see. First time he's running back-to-back races in almost 2.5 years.
Victory Boulevard is the 3 with Geraldo Mora.
A former runner around here. Eddie Barker had him. Mike Maker had him. He's stretching out now. He's got another one going from turf to dirt.
He's off the claim as well. A claim from J.R. Caldwell. The number 4 is United Patriot, Weston Hamilton.
Yes, gets a little bit of a class drop after a 9-week layoff. He's going to have to improve big time.
Number 5, Bow and Arrow. I know you're a bow and arrow hunter.
Yeah,
Anthony,
I'm a regular archer. By arch, so that makes sense here. First time off the Broberg claim. Rye Eccleberry going to try and show some speed with this one as well. Dobbins Gito is going to be tough on the front end, I would imagine.
If you want the Serling long shot selection, it's the 6, River Ruler, going off the claim.
I'm a big Ernesto Valdez Jimenez fan. One of my favorite under-the-radar riders in the country. I'm not going to knock you on him.
Stabile seal of approval for the rider. I like that. And finally, the field is rounded out by Tensis Toddy for Carlos Montalvo.
Yeah, the other Broberg in here coming in from Delta Downs going to need to improve off that Delta form in a big way.
Big trainer stats off the claim at at Sam Houston for the trainer of River Ruler. Let's head back to Oaklawn Park. Anthony, my head is spinning around here, trying to figure out exactly where we are. Georgia Deputy, long shot down on the rail, is going to kick things off. That's Joe Petalino, actually, John Court. John Court's having a terrific meet down there.
He really is. A slight bump in class for Georgia Deputy, who hasn't hit the board since trying the turf at Remington Park back in September against fellow Oklahoma breds.
Probably the only horse horse will have beaten down the backstretch is your pick, Sports Fan. The pace could get quick, though, so could help there, George Deputy. But
that's what I'm hoping, and the horse that's about to come onto your screen, the number 2, Call of Honor, should help the early pace in here. I would imagine he's going to be forward on the Ramon Vasquez. First time in the Scott Young barn off a trainer change. Takes a little drop in class. This horse sat just off the pace against 10-2 Lifes, like you mentioned, to win pretty easily 2 back.
Race the number 3 is Icadi's Verve, who we've talked about. Finished second last time. He's way the horse to beat.
4 to 5 shipping in from the fairgrounds off a couple of solid efforts. If he runs one of those 2 races, they're probably running for second money.
Number 4, Major Attraction Scratch. The 5 is Shofar, going out for Cody Rosen.
Second off the claim, dropping a bit in class. This horse hasn't done much running since making his way to Oaklawn Park.
Well, we saw a horse that ran against Gunrunner in the Risen Star earlier. We've got a horse that ran in the Belmont Stakes against Justify in Restoring Hope.
Yeah, he was the one that went to the lead. And
not really.
Yeah, well, it was a wild day. This horse did not run well last time. His first start off the claim from Ron Moquett.
The 7 is Englander. Looks to be the speed for Jason Barkley.
See if Edwin Gonzalez can put this one on a front-running mission. Should be able to clear.
John Geraldo looking for another win on Make Noise at a big price.
Yeah, dropping down a little bit here. Second start off a November break. This horse hasn't won in a very long time.
Your selection, the 9 Sports Fan, David Cabrera, riding for Carl Broberg.
First time Carl Broberg. Blinkers come off after a failed experiment last time. This was a square price at 8-1.
The combination of Raylu Gutierrez and Nevada Litfin round out the field with flat-out winner.
Yeah, this horse didn't do much running after being wide on the turn last time out. Barnes going a little quiet as well. This horse is a big price and should be.
Well, it feels like Francisco Arrieta Day here today. Let's hear more about that rider from our team member and former rider, Gary Stevens.
Yeah, guys, and this whole process as a rider is a growing experience, and you're building a brand, constantly building a brand, and that's what Arrieta has done. He's built his brand, and you have to keep continuing to grow that brand. It's like the snowball effect. Once you get the snowball started, you want to build it into a boulder, and that's it. He's in the process of doing that at this meet. Listen, his agent, Jay Fedor, he's doing the same thing. He's got a lot of faith in his rider, and by the same token, Arrieta has a lot of confidence in Jay Fedor. And I'll tell you, this horse here is a prime example. I mean, he rides a majority of Chris Hartman's horses. Chris wins at a high percentage. He's sitting at 25% here. He places his horses in the right spot. But one thing I've noticed about Francisco is that he's not forcing things. He lets his horse find his place in a race. And this is a good example of a horse that he can do that with. If the pace is slow, he's going to be more forwardly placed, and if it's a fast pace, this horse can adapt and come from well off the pace, 5-6 lengths off of the pace. I'm not saying a deep closer or anything like that. I expect him to be mid-pack and here saving ground down on the fence, but he's finding the right gaps. Things are in slow motion for him right now, and that's a good thing when things are developing in front of you and you can predict what's going to happen. And that's what I mean about being in slow motion. But it's been fun to watch the development. He's not through yet, guys. This is a long meet. We race all the way until the first Saturday in May. Actually, the first Sunday in May is what we race until this race meet is over with. So long ways to go with the jockey standings, but he's got all the momentum right now, guys, and expected to win his second on the card this afternoon right now.
And it doesn't hurt when you get hooked up with a trainer like Chris Hartman, whose horses have been winning in abundance the meet. And, you know, you can't really be as successful at a meet unless you're able to hook up with trainers that are winning at good percentages, and there's no reason not to ride Arrieta. He's making all the right moves. Here he is finishing second last time at Fairgrounds against arguably a tougher field.
Yeah, tougher field. There was a little bit of a stumble at the break last time as well, so really doesn't cost a horse like him who doesn't have a lot of early positional speed anyway. But he's making up a bunch of ground late in the game here. He's just going to fall a half length short. And like you said, Andy, you feel like this was probably a little bit of a better bunch than he's facing today. And if he can come back with an effort similar to this, I think one of his last two efforts will definitely get the job done. If he comes up with the last one, he's probably going to win.
Yeah, I mean, I do think the 7 Englander is an overlay right now at 9-1. You know, he's dropping down as well. And he is supposed to be able to clear Call of Honor. It doesn't necessarily work out that way. But to me, that seems like an awfully decent price on him. But let's head down to Sam Houston. Race number 3 loading in the gate. I like the long shot in here, River Ruler. How about you, Anthony?
I like the first time Broberg. That's my theme for the next 10 minutes, the number 5 Bow and Arrow. I shouldn't say first time. Call's actually claimed this horse back for the 4th time now.
All right, they're heading to the gate for race 3. Nick Tamaro with the call.
River Ruler steps in. Tensa Toddy to complete the 3rd race septet. Tensa Toddy is in. All set. And they're on their way. Victory Boulevard broke very slowly. Dobbins G did not and shows speed immediately. River Ruler has the most foot from the outside and heads out towards the lead. Bow and Arrow was away well. Now holding the position on the inside, Dobbins G. Tensa Toddy will be 4 wide to the first turn. Just in behind comes United Patriot. Comedian is moved off the inside for a wide run. And at the back of the pack, the slow starting Victory Boulevard. The 2 favorites sparring on the front end, Dobbins G on the inside of Bow and Arrow. It's then a length to River Ruler, who will stalk them from 3rd. 2 to Tensa Toddy, who races in 4th. 3 back to United Patriot, a half length to the good of Comedian, and the trailer is Victory Boulevard, about 10 lengths off the leaders, 24.7 for the opening quarter, moderate pace as Bow and Arrow now clears off. Steadying off heels there was Dobbins G. Dobbins G steadied pretty sharply when Bow and Arrow cleared. Passing him on the outside came River Ruler. Dobbins G will now stalk from third. Tensaw Toddy is fourth, trying to keep Dobbins G locked in at the inside. United Patriot is moving up 3 wide. Comedian is 4 wide into the far turn. And Victory Boulevard is still last, appears to have run, just went by Dobbins G. Around the far turn, Bow and Arrow a length and a half from United Patriot. Angling out widest Comedian, who has been wide on both turns. Victory Boulevard revving up on the outside, 4 wide, but still has 3 lengths to find as Bow and Arrow moves past the quarter pole. On the outside, Victory Boulevard in pursuit. Bow and Arrow cuts the corner off the turn, trying to fend off Victory Boulevard. United Patriot is plugging away there as well, along with Comedian. Bow and Arrow in front by 2. Victory Boulevard down the center of the track, keeps trying, not getting closer yet. Bow and Arrow still finding on the front end. One last try from Victory Boulevard, who is getting closer now. Bow and Arrow, Victory Boulevard. Bow and Arrow needs that wire and gets it. Victory Boulevard was second. Big run from Victory Boulevard to be second. Comedian was third, then United Patriot. Tensaw Toddy, Dobbins G, and River Ruler.
Well, almost half the field was off the claim, and if you just boxed the 3 in the exacta, and then you threw out the one that I picked, you got the 2. Victory Boulevard, Anthony, a little bit unlucky, though, after blowing the brake.
Yeah, if he breaks, he probably would have got the job done there.
Yeah, we'll head right down to Oaklawn Park, where I know you are interested. The 9 was a bit of a price here. Sports fan, I chalked it out with Cotty's Nerve, though I got to say, I'd probably bet a little on Englander to win and make a 3-7 exacta to cover myself. We'll see if he can clear the front. Heading into the gate on what looks like an absolutely beautiful day down in Hot Springs. Cleared up a little here, though. It's nice. Weather's been nice this week, you know.
Supposed to be supposed to be 73 degrees tomorrow here in New York. 77 is the record.
We got great racing this weekend at Aqueduct. 10 races every day, including an incredible card here on Saturday. It looks like a Saratoga card with big fields. Looking forward to getting back in action at the Big A, but we've still got a few to go at Oaklawn and a few to go at Sam Houston. Vic Stauffer will have the call of the 7th at Oaklawn Park.
They're at the post. They're off. Englander wins the break and goes to the front from Shofar and Restoring Hope, who's asked for speed. Then to the outside end, Sports Fan, followed by Akati's Verb and Call of Honor. Flat Out Winner and Make Noise are next, and the early trailer is Georgia Deputy. To the backstretch they run, and Restoring Hope and Englander will now kick on, and they go fast. Restoring Hope ahead in front of Englander in second. Shofar backs off, doesn't want to go that quick. He's third, 2.5 to Akati's Verve, now in a good spot in fourth. He's a length in front of Call of Honor. 3 back to Flat Out Winner, another 2 to Sports Fan, and then at the back of the pack are the 2 trailers, Make Noise and Georgia Deputy. Restoring Hope has won the early battle, but can he win the war? Chelsea Bailey and Restoring Hope to the half-mile pole with a length and a half in front. Englander is second, Shofar's at the rail in third. Meanwhile, Akati's Verb looms large, 3 deep in fourth. Flat Out Winner tries to go through at the rail. Call of Honor's outside of him. 3 back to Make Noise. Then Georgia Deputy, they round the far turn, and Englander re-engages with Restoring Hope. Restoring Hope just ahead in front of Englander in second. Cotty's Verve and Francisco Arrieta run up 3 deep. Call of Honor follows that favorite. Flat Out Winner is next. Then Shofar top of the stretch. Restoring Hope and Englander. There's still 1-2. Cotty's Verve has every chance in the center of the racetrack. Then it's 2.5 back 2. Georgia Deputy, Restoring Hope, running a very big race. He is trying to hang on, but he's got stretch runners coming. And one of them is Cotty's Verve. And between horses, Flat Out Winner. Now these 3. Flat Out Winner into Cotty's Verve. Now these 2. Flat Out Winner at Cotty's Verve. Flat Out Winner in front. Flat Out Winner beat Cotty's Verve. Restoring Hope was third. And Sports Fan finished fourth.
Raylu Gutierrez with an exceptional ride on number 10, Flat Out Winner. Got to the rail with this horse, or got towards the inside at least, and instead of the others who had to go outside, split horses in the stretch, and able to hold off the sort of no excuse Akati's Verve. Flat Out Winner. Gotta think this one's a big long shot.
Yeah, good job, like you said, by Raylu Gutierrez. You know, when the number 6, Restoring Hope, showed speed and kind of hung Englander a little bit, kind of let the outside horses drop over a little bit more, and that's what Raylu Gutierrez did with the winner, Flat Out Winner, and was able to parlay a good trip into a length and a half win.
Yeah, and Akati's Verve really had no excuse. You know, a little bit closer with Chris Hart, and a lot of his horses are a bit closer. Got there and just had no punch, frankly. Second looks like about the best he was ever going to get. It's a tough horse to come up with on paper. Your horse made a little bit of run. You got a bit of a thrill with your horse, Anthony, who finished sports fan. But flat-out winner, I'll tell you what, I couldn't have had this horse in a million years.
It's hard to find this horse. The barn was 0 for 26 coming into the week down at Oaklawn Park. Good for them. Like to see the barns that are going a little quiet get into the winner's circle.
I like to see my man Raylu Gutierrez get into the winner's circle as well. Well, while we had a Triple Crown prep last weekend, the biggest fig for a 3-year-old was at Oaklawn Park. We'll talk about that promising horse, We the People, when we come back in a moment.
Run Happy, the #1 second prop sire by graded stakes winners and earnings. Run Happy is represented by Smile Happy, the Kentucky Derby individual future pool favorite. A leading dirt sire and now with an exciting Kentucky Derby hopeful. Call Bernie Sams now and book your mare to Eclipse champion Run Happy right now. Run Happy standing in stall 1 at Claiborne Farm.
Be a part of the racing action Saturdays at Aqueduct with live money contests available online through Naira Bets. A $300 buy-in adds $200 to your contest account, while the other $100 funds the cash prize pool paid through 10th place. Follow along with the races on America's Day at the Races while keeping track of your leaderboard standings on Naira Bets. After the contest, your bankroll and prize winnings are shifted back into your Naira Bets account to start betting or withdraw. Register to play today at nairabets.com/contests.
Harris Farms, proudly standing Smiling Tiger, a triple Grade 1 winner, defeating Breeders' Cup champions Dancing in Silks and Amazombie, a leading California sire with over $9.7 million in progeny earnings, with 94 winners in 2021 and graded stakes superstars like Spice Perfection.
Spice Perfection wins the Grade 1 La Brea.
And Tiger Dad. Smiling Tiger, a leading California sire, standing at Harris Farms. It pays to be Cal bred.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
I'm Liam O'Rourke, the director of bloodstock here at Windstar Farm. I'm here with my friend Constitution.
Constitution up the rail with Javier Castellano.
Constitution is a multiple Grade 1 winner, including the Florida Derby, which he dominated as a 3-year-old. He came back as a 4-year-old to South Florida and won the Dawn Handicap, running a 1:11 buyer.
As they come down to the finish, Constitution and the Dawn.
Constitution is a rising star among all stallions here in Kentucky, and despite that he's a Kentucky bred and a Kentucky sire, he's had a lot of success in New York. Already in his career, he's sired the winners of the Champagne, the Nashua, the Sanford, the Peter Pan, the Travers, and the Belmont. This past year, we welcomed foals by New York superstars such as Kofefi, winner of the Test, and Hot Dixie Chick, who won the Spinaway up in Saratoga. Constitution is emerging as one of the elite sires in Kentucky, and you know what? The best is yet to come.
We the People at the top of the lane, a 2-length lead on Ruggs in second. Then Barossa and the Skipper 2. We the People hand-ridden past mid-stretch, and now he's 3 lengths in front. The Skipper 2 is running a big one, and he could get into second, but We the People is now 5 in front. Next stop, Arkansas Derby. We'll see We the People.
If you were watching America's Day at the Races the day We the People made his debut, you heard Gary Stevens go into a lengthy discussion about how much talent this horse had been showing in the morning, and he could not have been more correct. And while Classic Causeway got an 84 buyer, sort of waltzing on the front end down at Tampa Bay, this guy got an 89 buyer at Oaklawn Park. He was the most impressive 3-year-old, in my opinion, we saw last weekend. Now, he doesn't have the bottom of some of the others. But this guy's in the discussion, and obviously we'll see where he goes. There's been some talk. The Bluegrass, I think, Anthony, is where they're talking about going. This guy could be a player.
Yeah, they don't know what they're going to do as far as getting the points, and now it's a very important decision, obviously, because they'll get one shot at this. You get one shot to find the points, and if the horse doesn't make the Kentucky Derby, maybe it's not the worst thing in the world, right? He's got 2 starts under his belt. I mean, you're going to ask him to do something Curlin couldn't do. So it's tough. With that said, I don't know how many better horses there are on this trail right now than he is. I mean, the talent's obviously there. You know,
there are some good horses out there.
But I'm a fan of this horse.
He is a horse that is, with a little step forward, can really place himself in the conversation. There's another horse who is already in the conversation, Gary, and I think that she worked this morning at Oaklawn Park.
She did, Andy. Sacred Oath is who we're talking about for Wayne Lukas. And you talk about one that's having some bottom, that is prepared to make that next step forward. Is this too big a step? Not for Wayne Lukas. Sacred Oath worked this morning under Giovanni Franco. Luis Contreras, her full-time rider, was not in town this morning to work. So Wayne had told Giovanni he wanted to go 59 and change, hopefully around 59 and 4 with a 112, 113 gallop out. Well, it was even better than that. She went off in 23. She came home the same way. She went 59 and 2, galloped out in 112 and 1. It was a spectacular work. I was stood on the back stretch. I was hoping we'd get some video of it, but I was on the back stretch, watched the gallop out. It was smooth, it was strong. She was pulled up under the aid of Assistant Bass, Wayne's head assistant, and she's going the right way, guys. And her buyer figure of 92, well, that's better than any of the colts have run here. It's faster than the colts. And this wasn't the important work today. That's soon to come. He told her just let her go off easily and let her pick up. He said when she switches into her right lead, go ahead and let her do what she wants to the wire, and then wanted that decent gallop out. But the big work is expected to be next week or the week after, but she's going the right way, guys, and I love what I'm seeing in the mornings right now.
Thanks, Gary. We haven't seen a filly in the Derby since we started the points system because they haven't earned any points. Wayne Lukas in a very enviable position. She's already got the points to get in the Kentucky Oaks. So he can take a shot to get in here. He's been quoted as saying that he may not even run in the Derby, could run in the Preakness. And I think a lot of that decision may depend on how Ethereal Road, who ran second, the Rebel, does when he goes to the Bluegrass. If he were to win that race, Wayne might feel like he goes and maybe the filly waits the Preakness.
No question about it. No question about it. Listen, it's a nice position to be in. It's a position Wayne Lukas has been in many, many times. Maybe not for a while now, but a position he's been in many, many times. It's nice to have one on each path, one to the Oaks, one to the Derby. You see, I don't disagree with you. I think there are some nice horses on here. Nothing that would scare me away from running a filly against the boys this year.
I'm not saying to scare you away. We'll see what she does against some others. I know some people are high on her. Wayne Lukas won the Arkansas Derby with Althea a number of years ago, and she was favored in the Kentucky Derby and got nothing. But, of course, Winning Colors did win for Wayne Lukas and Gary Stevens. A lot of big races coming. You know, it starts out Louisiana Derby and the Florida Derby. Florida Derby in April this year. Arkansas Derby been moved up a little bit. And then, of course, that final Saturday with the Wood, the Bluegrass, and the Santa Anita Derby. Just a lot of good races, and I think we'll get a lot more answers because, as you say, it's wide open now. Some nice horses, potential out there, some speed horses. It looks to me as of now, I think what I find most interesting is this is the first time I feel since the points came into effect that we could have a fast pace in the Derby. There's a lot of speed signed on at this point.
And what the point system essentially did was it got rid of the sprinters out of there, and that obviously takes away some pace. But yes, I agree with you. A lot of these contenders right now seem to have some speed. It's been a long time since we wrapped the Derby Trail here in New York.
There we go. See what happens. Flat out winner, getting it done at a big price. If you're live in this pick 4, good luck to you. You got to beat a favorite in the last race with a 5-to-1 shot. You got a 17-to-1 home. And I love watching the races with our man, Raylu Gutierrez, especially giving a good ride. And Raylu is quietly moving forward and putting himself in a position where he can, at some point, be a player, I think, in the elite division of riders. He's not there yet, but he's close.
He's always had that talent, right? He always kind of felt like he could get to that point in his career. And, you know, sometimes you have to leave to come back. And I think that's what he did. He went and he found it. He found some easier colonies to ride in. Not that it's an easy colony, but easier certainly than the folks up here.
Look at the 8th at Oaklawn. We talked about Hunt to the front. They're falling hook, line, and sinker.
Wow.
For our man Nick Zito, always rooting for Nick Zito, but I don't think I want a horse like this with no speed Goalie, though, the 4-5 favorite. I thought Super Constitution was a potential winner here, though. The 3.
Some of these morning lines get you a little confused, right? Because, again, this was a race that on paper, on the morning line, was a little bit more wide open, and now you see another 4-5 shot. I don't know if Goalie's worthy of. I didn't think Arcadi's verse was. I don't think this horse is worthy of prohibitive favoritism either.
Well, I don't know how you take a super short price on anybody at this distance, because distance is a great equalizer in racing, and I'm not. Goalie's the horse to beat. I don't think we're disputing that, but somebody
Goalie might get to the 3/8 pole and say, I don't want to do this anymore.
Or he might want 1.5 miles his whole career.
Right.
But to take a short price on him, I think under these circumstances, because this is unusual, to have a race at 12 furlongs where nobody has any real experience, even going 10 furlongs or longer, is unusual. A lot more action to come in a very, very interesting 8th race. But also, the first foal out of a tremendous filly, Untapable, will be making her second start at Sam Houston in race number 4 when we come back on America's Day at the Races.
The breeding industry is governed by one principle: performance determines success.
And Constitution has won!
Now, he's earning his stripes by siring stars.
Independence Hall wins the Hagyard Bayette.
Law Professor just in front, and Law Professor.
American Revolution, fireworks in the stretch here in the Cigar Mile.
Constitution, a natural-born leader.
And it's Untapable now up to take them on. Untapable, Arrieta battling back along the inside, and now here comes Don't Tell Sophia. Don't Tell Sophia coming fast, but it's Untapable in front. Untapable the leader. Don't Tell Sophia flying on the outside. Untapable's gonna get there. Untapable has won it.
Untapable was quite a filly for trainer Steve Asmussen. Had an incredible 3-year-old year. She capped it off by winning the distaff, and then her rider, Rosie Napravnik, announced her retirement in the winner's circle after this race.
Yeah, she rode the next day, and that was it, right? I bet closed hatches in that distaff.
Well, I think that's what everybody was waiting to know.
Still running.
So, Untapable actually has a terrific second-generation turf pedigree. It is odd to think they bred her to Frankel, and even odder to see this horse made his debut as a 4-year-old at Sam Houston. But
yes,
boy, I'll tell you, this was some racehorse. What a 3-year-old year she had.
Yeah, fantastic 3-year-old. Yeah, she's a nice filly. Really nice filly.
Very big, strong filly. And here is Brentley's debut. And I'll tell you one thing about Brentley's debut. It didn't take a lot of money even, given that pedigree. He ran a winning race. This was a very fast pace.
Yeah, big effort here. Right, the whole thing's odd though. No money, right where the horse started the career, 4 years old. But yeah, this horse ran well.
It's a tough beat, actually, for this horse because he really did run a winning race. He just got a little bit late in there and a lot of speed. We'll see how much pressure he gets in the front end. I think he's going to be the clear speed. There are some interesting oddball pedigrees near Try the Turf for the first time, though, Anthony.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in this race a little bit. On the inside is the one, Oak Hill Solution, who is a half-to-horse who was sired by some of the parts.
This horse has one sibling that will Try the Turf and won. Getting a trainer change to a 20, trainer winning almost 25%.
I agree. A long shot at 33-1 at show in the 2 Whitaker. Not a lot to recommend.
No, not a lot to recommend at all.
How about West Texas Rain? They don't get much. The first foal from a dam who won on the turf.
Yeah. 1 for 6 on the grass, 56,000, has some speed.
Second dam, trained by your man Bill Mott. Luck of the Stars is the 4. This is a big price. The dam was a multiple winner on the turf, though.
Yeah, but there's 4 siblings to try it are 0 for combined.
Yeah, 0 for 5. The 5 is a half to one of Anthony's favorite horses that ran for Chad Brown. Road to Meath, trying the turf for the first time.
He was a quality road. This is a Munnings, a little more turf pedigree with Road to Meath.
Yeah, no. Munnings can do anything.
Yeah,
the 6 is
true.
Smart Battle in this race, who's stretching out.
Turf sprinted last time, 58-1, ran a solid third.
Brentley is not 5-2 today. Is 3-5 a little low?
I would think so. We've seen a lot of prohibitive favorites here today that did not deserve it. I believe he's one of them.
Yeah, he is the horse to beat, though.
Sure.
The 8, Brusalia, going out off a decent third-place finish.
Yeah, 2 decent efforts, second and third place finishes. Improved big time on the turf last time out. Best race by far.
The number 9, Tis Life's Dam, won a grade 1 at Belmont Park.
Yes, Tis Ms. Sue. 0 for 3 on the turf so far.
Cairo Warrior, who does have some speed from the outside, but is not as fast as Brentley.
Not as fast.
Actually dueled, though, with him last time.
Not as fast as Brentley. Did duel with him, but does not get the best of the draw. Last time they were right next to each other in the starting gate. This time drawn in post 7 and 9 as opposed to 3 and 7 and 10 as opposed to 3 and 4.
Our friend Mike Luzzy's son, Lane Luzzy, has the mount on that horse.
Little Luz.
Let's take a look at Tis Ms. Sue. If I'm not correct, she won what I want to say was the Ruffian by 13.5 lengths. Does that sound? No, it's not 13.5 lengths. I got that wrong. And it was the Phipps. So I really got it all right.
You said it right off camera. You said it was the Phipps. Right? Steve Hobby, was whispered in our ear that it was Steve Hobby.
You did not get that, Anthony.
Who's the Lane's End filly inside of her? Or is that was that Woodford? In any event.
Secret Status? What year was this?
2013.
Nah, Secret Status was much earlier than that.
2013. Yeah, getting the job done there. Tis Ms. Sue. You see the same silks. Probably not the same exact silks.
Bruce Lee coming off that third place finish last time will have to run a lot better, I think, to beat Brentley.
Yeah, and if one of the quirky pedigrees shows up as well, right?
I'm going to try the 5 as the pedigree horse.
Sergeant Klein.
Yeah, ran okay last time out. A new gelding in this race. I'll bet a little to win and bet a 3-5.
You're just a Road to Meath fan. Admit it, Andy.
Now, here's a trivia question for you. The 1, Oak Hill Solution, who's a half that turf winner, who ran a 60 buyer in the dirt and a 73 in the turf. The sire, Some of the Parts. Who trains Some of the Parts?
Oak Hill Solution is Real Solution.
Yes, but who trained the half, which was sired by Some of the Parts?
I want to say that would be our colleague Tom Amos.
You're the man. That is very impressive. It was a Karlovich horse, actually.
Yep.
He was so good that Tom Amos won stakes with him. It was a turf sprint. I think he may have run in a Breeders' Cup sprint or turf sprint.
I want to say it could have. Was he in 2015? Was he at the Keeneland? He could have been the Keeneland race. He could have been the first Keeneland Breeders' Cup.
That I can't remember.
I don't recall it.
I feel like he ran a while longer ago.
Longer ago, maybe.
But I could be wrong. You're usually right about those things. Are you going to try to beat Brentley
I have
here?
to be right about something, Andy.
Right.
Beat is the wrong word. See, so this starts the pick 6, by the way, the Space City pick 6 down at Sam Houston today. I didn't play any multi-race wagers today. I would have spread against him in here. It's hard to take a 3-5 price on this horse with everything we've said. 4 years old, his pedigree, debuting, not on one of the bigger circuits. And he's supposed to face some pressure. We mentioned Cairo Warrior dueled with him last time. Why would you imagine that Lane Luzzy is going to try to? Are you going to try and save ground now from the 10-0? Yeah, I guess. But do you really have a choice from the draw? I don't know if you have a choice right now.
We have to be aggressive. We'll see if they can. Listen, I'm not saying it's an impossibility. You're right. They dueled last time, so I wouldn't discount it.
West Texas Rain is where I would go.
Okay.
If I was going to, if you're looking to take a swing against the favorite, it's first time turf. like we mentioned the damage, the McLean's music, and this horse, he should leave, I keep saying he should leave for position here. Can't get around, I can't get in front of Brentley or Cairo Warrior, you would imagine, but I would like to see Floyd Weathy Jr. leave for some position. The blinkers went on last time, and it sharpened this horse up a little bit. Didn't make him any faster, but it kind of got him back into the game. It got him into the game a little more, and I wonder if that could help him sit off of the 2 speeds in here. He's a square price at 7-1 also. I think in here, if you're going to take, I mean, you're going to get paid if you beat the favorite. But I think this horse is the right horse at 7-1.
Isn't a horse who's a potential threat on the front, not necessarily to win the race, obviously, but a forward threat here is the 2 Whitaker, who draws far inside of the number 7 Brentley this time after breaking outside of him, and he was involved in that duel. I mean, you have to think that his rider is going to be aggressive with him. Couldn't Whitaker, who's almost 80-1, if not saying he's going to be a player at the end, but couldn't Weston Hamilton put him in the race and maybe an effect on the outcome?
Maybe.
I mean, his last race, he showed a ton of speed.
He did. But talk about it blowing up, right? It kind of blew up on him last time as well. But
will Brentley be as aggressive today? Maybe they'll rate a little bit. Maybe he won't be as effective rating.
Yeah, I would imagine Stuart Elliott will play the break, as they like to say. That's not trainer speak. That's jockey speak. Those are 2 different things.
I'm laughing about Road to Meath because I remember you picked him one day on the turf, and I said to you, he's really not a turf horse. And he really kind of was okay on the turf. But
there 4 of 10 on the turf, I think,
yeah,
right?
but he wasn't that good. There are a couple of turf winners in the family. I thought he was a better dirt horse. I'll tell you, there is a lot of pedigree, first and second generation. Nick Tamero has the call, race number 4 at Sam Houston.
And they're on their way. It was a good start for the big favorite Brentley. Smart Battle was out well. West Texas Rain also. Tis Life on the outside, but no one in a particularly big hurry to get the lead, and now Tis Life does so. And Tis Life is going to move over towards the inside, try to clear that traffic and get to the rail. Smart Battle holds his position on the inside. Cairo Warrior advances on the outside. That puts Brentley between rivals. West Texas Rain tightly off heels, racing from 5th. Immediately to that one's outside comes Bruce Lee. It's 2 lengths back to Sergeant Klein, and behind that one we have Luck of the Stars. At the back of the pack, Whitaker, and the trailer is Oak Hill Solution after a quarter in 23.67 seconds. Tis Life, a half a length from Cairo Warrior, who is poised on the outside, tracking from 2nd. Then it's 2 lengths back to the pair. On the inside, Smart Battle. The outside, Brentley, a length and a half to Bruce Lee, who races freely from 5th, set to strike. West Texas Rain, saving all the ground. 3 lengths to the back of the pack. Luck of the Stars on the outside of Sergeant Klein. 2 to Whitaker, and 8 lengths back to Oak Hill Solution, who's 15 or 16 off the leader. Into the far turn, Tis Life by a neck. On the outside, Cairo Warrior getting closer. 2 lengths back, Brentley under a drive. Bruce Lee advancing on the outside. Smart Battle on the rail. West Texas Rain has 4 lengths to find. Cairo Warrior strikes the front coming off the far turn and heads for home in front by a length. Brentley and Smart Battle are battling on the outside, trying to make ground. Bruce Lee. Whitaker has come from the back of the pack. West Texas Rain is angled out, but Cairo Warrior got the jump and has pulled clear by 3. West Texas Rain on the outside, trying to get up for 2nd. Whitaker will come from between horses as well. Nobody caught Cairo Warrior. Cairo Warrior impressively. West Texas Rain and Whitaker in a photo for 2nd and 3rd. It was then Bruce Lee and Brentley.
Well, they did try to rate Brentley today, and he had absolutely no punch whatsoever. But Cairo Warrior, under a good aggressive ride by Lane Luzzy, start number 14 was the charm, and it looks like your horse, West Texas Rain, probably got up for 2nd over Whitaker in a close photo.
Yeah, Whitaker, they ripped Whitaker off the pace today, and
it worked.
80-1, 90-1, whatever price he went off, he just got beat a zop for 2nd in here.
Yeah, but this was a very easy win for Cairo Warriors. The upsets continue on our show. Scales of Justice on the rail in race number 8 at Oaklawn Park.
Gets back to the main track for the first time since his debut when he faced Life is Good.
Amazing, isn't it? Amazing. No, he was on the main track 2 starts ago. No factor against his talented Masquerade. Goalie feels like a player in this race, should be forwardly placed. He is the heavy favorite. The 3 is Super Constitution, McLean Robertson.
Yeah, son of Constitution, going to try to go the 1.5 miles like the rest of them. I don't know how far this horse really wants to go.
The number 4, Tonal Totalitarian, after screwing up Bruce Lee at Houston. I'm going to try to do a little bit better. This one goes out off the claim for Bentley Combs, taking no money.
bitonal instead of a Langfear mare. Maybe the 1.5 miles in his scope, but he's a giant price.
They're all hoping for that. Spheroid, another long shot, is the 6. I think Ramon Vasquez picks up the mount on this runner.
That's correct. 2 starts off the claim by Randy Matthews. This horse hasn't done much.
Man who's won his share of huge races. My good friend Nick Zito has hunted the front, hoping he likes the 12 furlong.
He's upset the Belmont Stakes a couple of times at 12 furlongs. This wouldn't be that big of an upset.
He won't be in front, though, like
This
one
one-
of his
no,
winners
this one
was
will
in
not
that
be in
race.
front.
The number 8 Wartime Hero. He looks like the speed, but is he good enough?
He looks like the speed. I don't know if he's the good enough, but you want to know what, Andy? At the end of the day, on paper pedigree, if you think a horse is going to go 1.5 miles, it would probably be this one.
Well, I bet his dam, when she finished second to Plum Pretty in the Kentucky Oaks, that's St. John's Rivers. Gary Stevens has some thoughts, but first let's talk a little Naira Bets here, Anthony. Naira Bets, you head over to nairabets.com. If you're not a member, use the promo code STAKES200. Sign up. We'll match for $200 of your initial deposit. Play anywhere, anytime through Naira Bets.
And you mentioned a great Saturday contest this week.
We'll talk about that in a moment, but let's head over to Oaklawn and hear from our friend Gary Stevens.
Yeah, guys, I don't know how much opinion I have on this race other than, like you guys said, who wants to go 1.5 miles here? Listen, Bentley Combe saw this race in the book a ways back, right when this condition book came out. So he was able to prepare for it. He said, who on this racetrack, a non-3, wants 1.5 miles? He said, I've got a horse over here I think wants 1.5 miles. He had Tiago Pereira work the horse. Listen, he's by Tonalist, who won the Belmont Stakes in impressive fashion, and we're trying to find pedigrees that maybe match up. Well, that first workout that he gave this horse, he went 5/8 of a mile. He said, give him a big gallop out. He went the 5/8 in 1:01 and 4. His gallop out, he went out the mile in 1:39 and 1. Big, airy going horse. It's just steady, steady, steady. So we looked at things, and I said, enter up. We're going to be a big price in here, but who wants to go 1.5 miles? Maybe this horse does. So that's my inside info, guys.
Well, he's a bomb, Gary, so we always like a little bit of an idea on a bomb in this race. We've certainly seen some long shots, and it feels like a lot of favorites have gone down. As far as goalie, I think he's logical, but once again, it's just you just don't run these kind of distance races, and they're such great equalizers, Anthony, that I just would not take 3 to 5 on anybody in a situation like this.
You said, if he runs one of his last, well, his only 2 races on the main track were his last 2 races. Right? Everything else is turf. If he runs one of those 2 races, he is a very likely winner. But those were at 1 mile and a 16th and 1 mile and 3/16. He now has to go more than a 1/2 mile longer than he did 2 starts back.
No, he doesn't.
A 1/4 mile longer, rather, than he did 2 starts
math
back.
for you, Anthony?
He was a big price in both of his dirt races. And now he's 3 to 5. He's not even a coin flip to get right. If you think one of his 2 dirt races gets the job done, and you want to make him a coin flip, he's not even a coin flip. He's 3 to 5 right now.
Well, distance is a great equalizer in horse racing. You know, you see it much more in turf racing because we just don't run many dirt routes in this country.
Right.
And in turf racing, you'll see horses that are moderate talents going 1 mile, 1 mile and a 16th, even 9 furlongs. And they start going 11 furlongs and 12 furlongs, and those horses can turn into stakes horses. The same can be said. You think of the talent of who's that good horse that Diodoro has right now, Lone Rock.
Lone Rock.
Lone Rock was a horse that's okay when he goes to shorter distances, but he turns into sort of a monster when he goes those longer distances. It's a very, very different animal, and some horses will love it and some won't. 3 to 5, 4 to 5, he may get, as you say, he may get a little leg weary late.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, and
it's a Bodemeister. Well, there's not. I mean, he's an Empire Maker, but it's not like he's screaming distance.
And truth be told, while minimal, he lost a little bit of ground in his 2 races on the dirt.
That's fair. That's fair. He's never won in the dirt. He's only run twice, but he's never won in the dirt. I agree. I think Super Constitution is a much better bet at 4 to 1 in this race, personally. I think his recent form is okay for McLean Robertson. I think he'll be forwardly placed much like goalie. And I don't think there should be that big a disparity between these 2 horses' odds.
Yeah, in these races, I think you have to decide if you want to. You have to do this more often. In this race, I think you have to decide if the class is going to be as important at a at a regular distance, for the lack of a better term, right? I'm with you. I don't know if Wartime Hero stacks up to these horses class-wise, but I like his running stuff. Yeah, I think he's going to have a tactical edge, and I think again, like I said, on paper, his pedigree is the one I want going the mile.
And Carl Broberg's a player. He knows the horse he has, and trainers like that think like players. Tom Amos is one like that. They understand when they have a potential advantage.
Correct.
Well, 2.5 minutes from now, we'll know what happens in race number 8 at Oaklawn Park. We get the call from Vic Stauffer.
They're at the post. They're off. Super Constitution broke on top, but Goalie wants the lead, or does Wartime Hero? Scales of Justice moves through at the rail, and Wartime Hero is intent on getting to the front. So Scales of Justice will sit second and Goalie third. Super Constitution broke on top, but now he gallops fourth from Total Totalitarian and Hunt the front, and the early trailer is Spheroid. From the outside to the rail to the front, Wartime Hero is the leader. Goalie is going to move up outside and challenge in second. Wartime Hero at the top of the stretch the first time, a 2-length lead. Goalie is second, 3/4 of a length to Scales of Justice at the rail. Total Totalitarian and Super Constitution are fourth and fifth and about 5 from Wartime Hero. They are 4 in front of Hunt the front, and Spheroid is last with 1 lap to go. Wartime Hero and David Cabrera just in front as Goalie inches ever closer in second, and Scales of Justice is tucked in at the rail in third. Total Totalitarian is fourth, and he's only about 2 from the front, and now he's 3 in front of Super Constitution. Then comes Hunt the front. He's got about 6 lengths to make up, and Spheroid has been eased up out of the race, so they run to the backstretch, and Wartime Hero is still the leader with his menacing Shadow Goalie to the outside. Wartime Hero now just a neck as David Cohen turns up the pressure with Goalie, and Wartime Hero will have to respond, and he does. He's still a neck in front. Goalie is second, and now these two are sprinting along 3 lengths in front of Scales of Justice. Total Totalitarian is all in. He's still 5 furlongs from the wire, but he is in a full-out drive, 3.5 back to Super Constitution. Hunt the front is the trailer to the half-mile pole. Finish line is the 16th pole, and Wartime Hero and Goalie now get away. Wartime Hero ahead in front of Goalie in second. Now it's 5 lengths to Scales of Justice. Super Constitution just took over fourth, and Goalie just took over the lead, and he did it in the blink of an eye. Goalie now suddenly 3 lengths in front. Wartime Hero can only watch him run away. Scales of Justice and Super Constitution, but Goalie is rolling at the top of the stretch, and something completely unforeseen would have to happen for Goalie to not win. He is now 8 or 9 lengths in front of Scales of Justice, Super Constitution, and Wartime Hero, and Goalie comes to the final furlong, and he's got a big lead. Scales of Justice is running a lovely race, but it's just second best to Goalie, who is far in front coming to the wire. David Cohen and Goalie all alone. Goalie won by about 10. Scales of Justice was second by more than that, then Hunt the front and Super Constitution.
Well, we don't know what the final time is, but we do know one horse handled 1.5 miles, and pretty much the rest of them didn't. Goalie lived up to his 4-5 here, Anthony, with a convincing and facile win.
Yeah, just sat off of Wartime Hero, took over at will, and literally and figuratively at will. He was gone in the blink of an eye. Wins it by 10 under the line, 4-5. So it almost got to the coin flip.
He won like a 4-5 shot should. Goalie, Robertino Diodoro, and David Cohen getting the money in race number 8. We've seen some prices. Well, we've seen a short price win race number 8 at Oaklawn. Still got some action at Oaklawn. 9 furlongs to close the last out. We've still got a couple races to go at Sam Houston. Lots more to come. The Big A and I will be back after a quick break.
Grade 1 winner and track record setter Lee. Like their sire, his runners have excelled on both dirt and turf, including these standout performers.
Leading by 3, Gibberish and Dylan Davis.
Out of a Galileo mare, this dual-surface star has sired juvenile stakes winners on both dirt and turf. Lee, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Who you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Naira Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Naira Bets.
Charlatan is back, and he turns it on with 1/8 of a mile to go. Express Train moves into second. Nashville dropping out of it, and then Collusion Illusion. What a spectacular return for Charlatan, who will romp in the run-happy Malibu Stakes by 4.5 emphatic lengths. Charlatan, ultra impressive.
It's a new day for a new king.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than America'sBestRacing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. America'sBestRacing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races at beautiful Oaklawn Park. Nice new hotel has joined the racetrack. Oaklawn's 8th race. A facile win there, Anthony, by the favorite.
Yes.
Goalie.
Very easy. Very easy. Couldn't have been easier, really.
Diodoro a little bit slow for 2 to 3 weeks, but he picked things up a couple of weeks ago, and he seems to be back on track for another leading trainer here at the Oaklawn meet. 19 to 1, though, if you got the one horse in that race second. Getting the money, holding on, Scales of Justice. Raylu riding with real confidence there.
Always seems to be getting a piece of the pie, right? Always seems to be
very
grabbing
good
a
rider.
piece.
A very, very good rider. And so, you know, if you had, I didn't have that horse, I could never have had him. And Nick Zito getting third with Hunt to the front, but they were spread out. And you usually often see that in these 1.5 mile races. 360 on the win end.
Andy, I heard when you retire, you're going to move down to Oaklawn for the winter to take advantage of the on-track show bet bonus. Is there any truth to that?
That will not be happening. 3-2-1 exacta, $46.60.
That's a nice number.
That's a very, very generous price. Well, we're at Aqueduct. We're getting ready to head on over to Belmont Park, but we're always thinking about Saratoga, and it's just around the corner, but less than 4 months away. Saratoga Dreaming coming up when we come back on America's Day at the Races.
It's 1,000 words fighting back, coming down to the finish. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, this is one stunning picture.
1,000 words just in front. 1,000 words wins the Robert B. Lewis.
Honoree P is full out now, second on the outside, and they're coming down to the line, and 1,000 words has done it.
Well, as we said, we're heading towards Belmont Park, and in less than 3 months, it'll be Belmont Stakes Day, Saturday, June 11th. The Belmont Stakes, a huge day of racing, and after having nobody there 2 years ago and 11,000 people last year, 50,000 this year, which is really our capacity at this point. Those tickets are going to sell out. Do not miss out on what is an incredible day of racing. Not just the third leg of the Triple Crown, the potential for a horse going for the Triple Crown, but an incredible array of stakes races, essentially a mid-year's Breeders' Cup. You want to go. You want to be there. Get your tickets now because they will sell out, and we don't want you to get shut out.
You need to be there.
Speaking of big events, about a month after we finish the Belmont Stakes, Saratoga opens up. 77 stakes races scheduled for the summer meet. We just announced that Saratoga Stakes schedule, and you know, you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself, Anthony. I know you, like me, we enjoy the Big A, and we certainly like going to Belmont Park, but Saratoga is always in the back of your mind somewhere, and this year's meet should be tremendous.
Heading up there Monday for the day. Yeah, always look forward to getting up to the Spa, and there are some of the big days of what's always a fantastic meet.
Jim Dandy, of course, will be covering the Whitney, one of the biggest races run not just at Saratoga, but in the country every year. Going to be a tremendous race. There's so many good older horses this year. It could be a real Whitney to remember. The Travers, of course, that Saturday, August 27th, and that closing weekend with all the grade ones, including the Jockey Club Gold Cup. There's no bad weekend. There's no bad day at Saratoga. Can't wait to be up there in Saratoga, but a lot to look forward to between now and then as well.
Yes, almost 4 months before we head up I-87. And back 100 years in history when you make the left onto Union Avenue. And yeah, looking forward to the rest of the meet here at Aqueduct. And we got a couple of months over at beautiful. I stopped by Belmont Park the other day. Had to stop at the barns for a little bit and went over and saw the old white pine. Said hello. And yeah,
looking forward.
I'll get to all 3 tracks in a week. I'm looking forward to that.
Back there in a little over a month, actually, but still some good racing coming at Aqueduct as well. And Sam Houston. Sam Houston's race number 5. They're going to be going 6.5 furlongs, a field of 8. On the outside is the second choice right now. Is Sea of Love is currently the 8-5 favor. We'll see how that plays out. We'll talk a lot more about Sam Houston 5 and Oaklawn's race number 9 when we come back on America's Day at the Races.
The sun shines bright on Caraconte. His first crops of racing age are showing brilliance on the racetrack with a high percentage of stakes winners. His versatility is evidenced by winners on all surfaces across the globe. And his offspring are lighting up the sales ring. With his biggest and best quality of books in the pipeline, the sun shines bright on this value sire. Caraconte, standing at Gainesway.
Blood Horse Plus, available through bloodhorse.com, provides exclusive, timely, and unmatched content to subscribers, including Fox Sports, Blood Horse branded weekly programs, a detailed stakes winners section, behind-the-scenes videos from Blood Horse staff, on-demand access to deeper horse statistics, and a $5 monthly credit to equineline.com. Upgrade to Blood Horse Plus today.
Honor AP, a mesmerizing horse from the very beginning, who captured the imagination of the racing world and proved his potential on the track. A Grade 1 winner, out of a multiple Grade 1 winner, with incomparable looks and an unbeatable pedigree. The speed, the bloodline, the physical. Honor AP, new for 2021, only at Lane's End.
How does horse racing support New York's economy? It's responsible for 19,000 jobs and more than $3 billion in annual statewide economic impact. These good-paying jobs support working families across the state and sustain thousands of small businesses both on and off the track. Horse racing in New York means jobs and opportunities now and in the future. We are New York Horse Racing.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races as the horses are getting ready to head postward for race number 5 at Sam Houston. Look at that. Here's the post parade, the one Sea of Life off a maiden win.
Start number 10 for Sea of Life to get the maiden win last time out. Second choice right now at 3-1.
My Baby Blue, moving up from a $5,000 claiming race, a state-bred race.
Starts off a September layoff. Going to need to improve off those last 2 races on the dirt.
These are Texas breds. The 3, Lane Luzzy looking for his 2nd win in a row on Texas Whirlwind.
Go back to back. Switched a little more, handled a little more aggressively last time. We'll see if that works today as well.
Number 4 is High Def Ridge.
0 for 20 in the career at Sam Houston, 1 for 54 overall.
Yeah, 1 for 54. We have a couple of those in New York, so I'm not saying anything. The 5, 7 S's Special refused to break last time out. Bit of a concern.
Yes, a concern after running decently 2 starts back.
The 6, She's a Hunk. Okay.
Barn has 11 seconds from 60 starters at the meet. Those doubles turn into home runs eventually.
Off the going turf to dirt for She's a Hunk. And speaking of turf, they're off the turf in race number 6, or maybe the rest of the way at Sam Houston. The 7 is Head Over Boots.
Third start off a summer layoff. We'll see if this horse is ready to give her best effort in third start back.
Chased a pace that held together and had nothing. And the 8, She's an Angel, is currently the 4-5 favorite and looks like the controlling speed.
Yeah, it took the class drop last time. Actually bumps up a little bit in class today.
And excuse me, Stuart Elliott riding, or Stuart Elliott, who rode Smarty Jones to so much success. I want to mention again race number 6. That is off the turf. Apparently they had a little bit of rain, but they are off the turf. The main track is still listed as fast, but they're off the turf.
Yes. The rest of the way, it looks like.
Cairo Warrior, the winner of race number 4. He got 940 on that horse breaking the maiden, as we mentioned, with Lane Luzzy.
That was on the turf.
That was.
Last turf race of the day, it turns out, down at Sam Houston. Got the job done.
But it didn't rain in Texas.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've never been. You've been to Texas?
I've been to the Houston airport. Like so many people, my trips to Texas have been being in the Houston airport.
Layovers?
Just switching planes in the Houston airport. But I've actually never visited Texas.
Okay.
Of course, Naira Bets. Want to remind people to play through Naira Bets. $200 deposit match. Use the promo code STAKES200. Sign up for Naira Bets. You support racing. You keep the money in the game. You said they have a contest this Saturday?
Yes, Saturday. The contest is back. $300. It's the 10, and Andy said it earlier. This card here is fantastic.
Is it on the Aqueduct card?
It's on the Aqueduct
just
card.
Aqueduct?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. And it is $300?
$300. Go to Naira.com to sign up. You can sign up until 5 o'clock tomorrow.
NairaBets.com or
Naira.com?
Okay.
Naira.com.
But you can only play through Naira Bets.
Naira Bets, correct.
All right. Another reason to join Naira Bets to play that contest. And it'll be on our races. And as you say, that is a really, really
loaded card.
It's a live money contest, I assume?
Yes, sir. Live money.
And, yeah, no, those are great contests. And if I didn't work at Naira, I would definitely be playing. And Saturday's card, boy, those are interesting races.
We apologize that there's not 600 in dead money going in between the two of us up here.
Right, I agree. David Aragono makes the morning line, said, I think he only made one horse under 2-1 the entire day. And I think that might be in the first race, actually, that Linda Rice drop down off the layoff. So it's always nice to have big cards where you don't have those kind of heavy favorites.
To feature the Cicada 6-horse field, 5-2 to 6-1 covers the morning line.
Yeah, it's actually an interesting race where there's something to be said about everybody in there. And, with that cancellation last Saturday, we're able to run 10 races both Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all 3 days. It's going to be great racing here. And, of course, at Sam Houston, do you have an idea in this 5th race to go against She's an Angel? I do not.
I didn't. No, I unfortunately did not. I guess the number 6, She's a Hunk.
Turf to dirt, turning back in distance.
Yeah, third off the 3.5 months. But this horse, she's the one dirt race was at Remington. The her 52 Fig. It was against Allowance Company. She didn't do much running that day, so it was probably more a result of the company.
Is the 6.5 furlongs a bit of a concern? I know you're much more disconcerted than I am, but this is a horse who is the speed, but is stretching to 6.5 at all a bit of a concern?
I mean, I guess it has to be at this level, right? But, man, she just looks so much faster earlier than these horses, doesn't she, Andy?
I agree. I agree with you that She's a Hunk, who's the current sort of third choice, vying for second choice. That would be the one I would use the backup, but even she's a little tough to take. She's not that good. We'll see what happens as they go that 6.5 furlongs, making their way to the gate for race number 5. Nick Tamaro, the caller at Sam Houston, is a real racing renaissance man. The guy can do everything. He's a tremendous handicapper, morning line maker. He's so good he even puts up with me.
That's probably the toughest task he'll ever have to deal with.
No, there's no question about it. But he's also, been starting as a race caller, and I think he's doing a fabulous job. We'll head down, and we'll get Nick's call of race number 5 at Sam Houston.
The favorite She's an Angel broke well on the outside. Texas Whirlwind has some speed between rivals. Head Over Boots is forwardly placed. Here comes My Baby Blue and Sea of Life down towards the inside. Bit of a scramble on for the lead down the backstretch. Texas Whirlwind has grabbed command. She's an Angel is on the outside, now pokes ahead back in front, counter-punching down to the inside. My Baby Blue. These three have sped off about 5 lengths in front of Sea of Life, who is cajoled along to stay within range in 4th. 2 more then to Head Over Boots, who's 5th. 2 back from there to She's a Hunk. It's then a space of about 7 to High Def Ridge, who trails the field into the far turn. They've left My Baby Blue behind, Texas Whirlwind and She's an Angel. She's an Angel now in front, just under 3 furlongs to go, beginning to get away. Texas Whirlwind trying to fight back. Sea of Life is advancing from 3rd. Farther back, Head Over Boots is underway and is rallying now into 4th past the quarter pole. She's a Hunk, High Def Ridge, they're at the top of the stretch. She's an Angel, strictly the one to beat off the far turn. Sea of Life on the outside is rallying. Head Over Boots looking to make headway in the center of the racetrack. Texas Whirlwind is fighting back on the inside. She's an Angel trying to see it out, just over 100 yards to go. Head Over Boots is making ground on the outside and looks like the biggest danger. She's an Angel still there. Texas Whirlwind, Head Over Boots, a final try. She's an Angel, yards to go, gets it done. Texas Whirlwind was 2nd, then came Head Over Boots and She's a Hunk.
Well, 3 of them sped off from the field, and it did feel like the first 2, including the eventual winner and the favorite, got a little leg weary, but nobody could pick them up in the stretch, Anth.
Lane Luzzy did the right thing, Andy. He tried to take the fight a little bit to the prohibitive favorite, to the 8, She's an Angel. Just couldn't keep up with her earlier on, and then in the stretch, they tried to lay down. Head Over Boots.
I'm not sure they didn't lay down. Just couldn't catch them.
Just could not pick them up late.
What was
in
the
the
word
game.
Nick used in the call?
Cajoled.
Cajoled.
That was a good
that.
one.
Yeah, cajoled. I like that. That was very
a
good. Yeah. Well, they set a quick pace, and nobody could pick them up in the stretch. The number 8, She's an Angel. She was an angel today. Steve Asmussen getting one of what will probably be about 400 or 500 wins this year as he moves on towards 10,000 wins. It shouldn't be long.
Should not be long at all.
No, he wins in abundance all over the place. She's an Angel, Stewie Elliott and Steve Asmussen teaming up for the victory. As we wind things down, America's Day at the Races, we've still got a couple races left, including the 9th at Oaklawn. We will continue, Anthony and I, at Aqueduct, covering Sam Houston and Oaklawn Park in just a few moments.
And Shotgun Howdy, oh, it's a photo finish. Is early voting, who was on top right from the start, and early voting wins the Withers, wire to wire. Godite, and he's going to win the 117th running of the hopeful
Echo Zulu wins the Next Gen Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies by 5.5 lengths.
3 Chimneys, where dreams are born.
Welcome back to America's Day of the Races. And, of course, America's Day of the Races is brought to you in part by our good friend, Run Happy. Sometimes wonder where we'd be without Run Happy. And he is having a terrific year. Smile Happy, of course, heading as one of the favorites to, not exactly sure, maybe the Florida Derby, but he's brought to you by Run Happy. He's a champion sprinter who raced medication-free, standing in stall 1. You might have heard down at Claiborne Farm.
I did.
Race number 9, they are on the track. The 1, Gagoots. John Cox off the claim.
You know what Gagoots is? It's a zucchini, like a squash.
I love zucchini.
Yes.
I love a little fried
Gagoots.
zucchini.
Mitch is telling me yes.
Mitch has only had it fried.
30-1.
Never had it healthy, I'll tell you that. Take a look at him. The 2, Go for Sherry, going out for Cipriano Contreras and Francisco Arrieta.
Second off. This horse did not run particularly well last time out, yet they keep this horse in the starter allowance condition. I found that interesting.
Number 3, Rye Humor. 13-1.
Yeah,
Eddie
big
Morris.
price. I thought this horse was a big price. I thought this horse was a player in here.
I'm
13-1. I'm stunned.
Okay, I'm surprised this horse is the shortest price. The 1, 2, and 3. The 4 at 7 to do home run trick. Carl Broberg off the claim. Wire to wire.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I guess that would be the
plan.
The plan with Mr. Cabrera aboard. Yeah, 7-2.
The 5, Derby Code. Many coming out of the same race that fell apart. Derby Code finished 3rd.
We'll see if Raylu can get this horse a ground-saving trip. That might help the cause, especially if home run trick starts coming back to them.
6, Casanova's meeting some tough horses in here as he moves up. Lost the first line. Of course, they raced here for the Notas.
Former Kentucky Derby contender first line.
Absolutely. Contender until he was too old to run in it. The 7, Venture 4th, coming off that win for Federico Villafranco.
This horse I thought is a little sneaky at 8-1. Really? I like his last 2 races. I think he's improved, and I think he can get a big piece of this.
I only want horses that were close to the pace, that were close to the pace, like Bryce, the favorite in race number 9.
Yeah, he's taking a lot of money here, 9 to
He's
5.
the horse to beat.
Yeah, that race 3 starts back would crush these.
Indian Gulch, Thomas Van Berg, 13-1.
Second off of the break, he just got back to the dirt after trying the Poly at Turfway Park 2 back.
An heirloom kitten, a rare kitten's joy that's much better on the dirt than turf.
This horse doesn't run 2 steps on the turf. And, yeah, the race last time out was a little interesting, the Venture 4th Derby Code race. We'll see if I get a little bit more pace to run at in here.
I think the 2 is a big overlay in here, Go for Sherry, but I know that Gary Stevens is interested in Venture 4th.
Yeah, Andy, and I found out why you think this horse deserves to be 7-1 right now. I couldn't figure it out. You think that Bryce is going to be closer to the pace. He just beat Bryce, and I think that this race may fall apart in the final 16th of a mile, going a mile and an eighth today. Like Anthony said, I like Venture Force last 2 races. He showed some consistency. He's ran 2 good buyer figures at 81 to 79, competes with these. And I don't see any reason that he can't put back-to-back races together. And if this race does fall apart, we could see him in the winner's circle at 7-1, Andy.
Obviously, he is a horse that would benefit from this race falling apart, and perhaps it will again, because you are adding the speed of home run trick to this race, which could have an effect on it. For me as a handicapper, I look at a race like the 9th race at Oaklawn on February 18th. I look at the race, it completely collapsed. The pace was quick, the pace fell apart. I'm going to look for horses that were forwardly placed that ran okay. Bryce is one of them, picks up Joel Rosario, you're getting a short price. Bryce finished barely in front of Go for Sherry, who gets a rider switch to Francisco Arrieta. That horse was even closer to the pace, and you're getting 20-1 on Go for Sherry. I can't understand why Go for Sherry is this kind of price here.
I don't get I guess the recency, right? The last 2 races were not very good. Now, I had a little bit of an excuse getting involved in a hot pace last time. 2 starts back. I guess you could say the slop, but the problem is the horse had hit the board in 4 or 5 with 2 wins on wet tracks in the past, although it was better on a fast track. Yeah, the other problem is this horse kind of, what's he going to do today? You mentioned home run trick kind of joining the fray here a little bit. If anything, this pace is supposed to heat up more with the presence of home run trick.
You don't know. You know, I think that's a very valid point. But
we don't know, but I mean, I would assume that.
Well, but I'm never going to assume fast paces in racing. I think you get yourself in trouble in today's world assuming fast paces because more often than not, they're not aggressive. They're probably more aggressive at Oaklawn than they are in New York, to be fair. But I know that many of these horses are coming out of a race that collapsed, and I know that Derby Code benefited from it. I know that Venture 4th benefited from it. I know the horse on the outside, Heirloom Kitten, benefited from it. And I know that Go for Sherry and Bryce were hurt by it. Now, Bryce, picking up Joel Rosario is taking a lot of money. Maybe he's the horse to beat, maybe not. Too short a price. But I see a horse like the 2 Go for Sherry who ran, I think, better than Bryce ran in that race. I honestly do. When you look at it, I don't know. I shouldn't say a lot better. Didn't run significantly worse than Bryce. And that horse is going for 21-1. I can't resist that. I have to bet on Go for Sherry in this race.
Oh, at that price, absolutely.
Yeah, you're talking about a horse that 3 races back ran an 86 buyer, which would be pretty tough in this race, wouldn't it, Anthony?
I think that's why, and this is going to sound kind of counterintuitive, but I think the reason this horse is 21-1 is you go from the
high percentage
79, 76. All right, something happened, obviously, when the horse was eased.
Well, a sloppy sealed track.
No. The race at Churchill is where the horse had the problem. And then he came back, and he ran the 83 and the 86. Now, one was at Hawthorne, but one was here at Oaklawn. And then the poor effort in the slop. I agree, sloppy sealed track. And then last time was part of the pace. Yep. Listen, I just think people see it appears at first glance this horse's form is dirtied up by his last 2 races. But if you take a deeper dive, you realize that this horse.
I'm hoping it was compromised a bit by the pace.
I have a defunct pick 4 ticket. This horse, both the 2 and the 3 were on the ticket.
Okay.
I can't believe they're both the prices they are.
Do you have a top selection here?
I mean, I like the 7.
Okay.
I like Venture Forth, and I know. I understand what you're saying about.
Yeah, I would never bet a horse.
Right,
like
you would.
This.
This is a horse you would
even
be
a little
right.
bet.
But with Home Run Trick added, joining the fray, as I said earlier.
No, you may be right.
I would imagine there's going to be even more pace on in here.
Yeah, I have trouble believing you'll get another super fast pace, but you could, and you're right with Home Run Trick.
And it's
in the
a mile
race,
and an eighth, so that could help a horse like.
That also may discourage the riders from being as aggressive,
maybe.
Right? I mean,
yeah,
that's
maybe.
But no, it's an interesting points here. We'll see what happens. Some interesting stuff in this race. I'm looking forward to rounding it out. I don't think we've seen Joel Rosario win a race yet, at least while we've been on.
We have not.
Joel, of course, last year's Eclipse Award-winning rider. Looking forward to him. I think we'll see him for Wood Day. I believe he is riding Mo Donegal.
Mo
Donegal, I believe. So I'm looking forward to seeing him.
Nice.
Wood Memorial. One last time at Oaklawn Park. Let's head out to Vic Stauffer.
They're off. Indian Gulch was knocked around at the start. Home Run Trick right to the front from Heirloom Kitten and a hard scent Bryce. Go for Sherry and Rye Humor are next, then Derby Code and Venture Forth. Then comes Indian Gulch and Gagoots, and the early trailer is Casanova. Solid pace set by Home Run Trick at the clubhouse turn. He leads Bryce 3/4 of a length. Go for Sherry crashed into Rye Humor and took 3rd. Then to the outside in Heirloom Kitten. Now Rye Humor is a pumped up 5th and 4 from the front. Those 5 have separated themselves by 5 lengths to Venture Forth, Derby Code, and Indian Gulch. Then it's another 6 back to the 2 trailers. They are Gagoots and Casanova, strung out over a lot of ground with Home Run Trick and Bryce continuing to match strides. Home Run Trick a half length in front of Bryce in second. Now it's 3 lengths back to Go for Sherry and Heirloom Kitten. Another 2.5 back to Rye Humor. Venture Forth, Derby Code, and to the outside and Indian Gulch. They're all about 10 off the lead, and then it's 20 lengths last to Gagoots and Casanova. Bryce is at the throat latch of Home Run Trick. Home Run Trick inside, Bryce outside. They have now opened up a 5 or 6 length lead on Go for Sherry. Now Venture Forth is about to take 4th, but he's still double digits from the front with Indian Gulch outside of him. Derby Code is next, top of the stretch. Bryce and Home Run Trick are putting on a show. Home Run Trick is inside, Bryce is outside, and they come to the final furlong, and Bryce has now taken a short lead. Home Run Trick is back to second. Now 4 back to Go for Sherry. Then comes Venture Forth, but Bryce has a final 16th to get, and now he's got 2 lengths to work with. Home Run Trick, as he always does, gives his very best. Then Go for Sherry and Venture Forth. It is Bryce in front. Bryce won by 4. Go for Sherry second. Home Run Trick third. Venture Forth finished 4th.
You know, it's interesting, Anthony. The pace was honest in this race. They did not crawl. But you know what? The speed never came back. Bryce, Joel Rosario, I think one of the things that Joel does best is analyze a race where he needs his horse to be forward, and he feels like the 4's the one I have to beat. I'm going to go after him from the start, and it worked out.
It worked out for Goalie in the last race.
Yep.
It was pretty much it was deja vu all over again, as Yogi would say.
Nobody could pick up any
Nobody
ground.
picked. They left the gate 4-8-2. They hit the wire 8-2-4.
And getting the 2 go for Sherry in for second, a little suck-up second for
Nice
me.
job.
And I think, listen, it worked out here. It doesn't have to work out. But you're talking about 20-to-1 shots. If you can make some kind of case for them, that's when you can make some money. Because even though it worked out here, so you feel smart. Listen, it hasn't worked out in my opinions all day today.
He was too big. He was way too big.
He was just too big a price, right? He probably should have been about 10-to-1 in here.
Right.
I'm not saying that he was about right.
He should have been half his price.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the name of the game as a player, because if you cut it too close as a player and you're betting and trying to, whether it's win or be competitive, you got to allow yourself the opportunity to be wrong an awful lot, because you're not going to be right that often. But if you get paid when you are right, you got a few more opportunities to be wrong and still make money.
And I'll tell you what, a place that, he offered a lot of value at his price, because they overbet some horses today. I mean, even the winner in hindsight. I mean, the winner Gallop.
6-5 is
you
silly.
want 6-5 on this horse?
No, I don't. And once again, looking at the race they came out of, the race collapsed, and the 2 horses that came out of the same race that were victims of the dynamics of the race ran 1-2. And to me, that's how I handicap. A lot of times it doesn't work out. In this case, it did work out. 4-8-2-4-7 to close it out. The only horse that closed was Venture Forward, your horse.
Yeah. Nobody moved. Nobody gets hurt, right? That's how it went.
47.06 is moving up front. I got to tell you, they were moving up front. Just nobody could close. Well, we still have 1 race left, and we also got some excellent stakes action both here and at Oaklawn Park to talk about. We will talk about them when Anthony and I return on America's Day at the Races.
Start spreading the news. If you're looking to win in New York, then breed in New York. To War Dancer, the millionaire son of Warfront, and New York's #1 sire of 3-year-olds. Breed to a proven performer, the #1 second crop sire at the Saratoga meet with multiple winners at Belmont and Aqueduct. Earn double the New York Breeders' Awards and participate in the New York Stallion Series with $2 million in purses. War Dancer, proud to stand in New York. Visit wardancerstud.com.
This season at Oaklawn, we've got more of everything. More of the top thoroughbreds in the world. More days of live racing. And the largest purses in our history. All at a completely reimagined Oaklawn. Come be a part of this historic season at Arkansas's only casino resort.
Run Happy, the #1 second crop sire by graded stakes winners and earnings. Run Happy is represented by Smile Happy, the Kentucky Derby individual future pool favorite. A leading dirt sire and now with an exciting Kentucky Derby hopeful. Call Bernie Sams now and book your mare to Eclipse champion Run Happy right now. Run Happy standing in stall 1 at Claiborne Farm.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. Well, we wrapped it up at Oaklawn Park with race number 9, and Bryce, the heavy favorite, drawing off to an easy victory. Tough to get through a day without Joel Rosario winning Least to Racing.
Took the words right out of my mouth, sir. Just when you think it's safe to go back on the water, Bryce sits right off a home run trick, gobbles him up off the turn, and go for sure. Look at the place price on your horse. $15.80.
but you also got $60, almost $59.80 for the exacta underneath the favorite. So if you bet $2 to win and $2 to place on the horse, you got yourself $15.80. If you bet a blind $2 exacta below the favorite, you got $60 back. Do not bet place, bet exotics.
Boy, I'll tell you what, it really goes to show you just how short those two horses were in the last two races, right? The pick 5 only, and I say only came back for 50 cents, a little under $1,400, right?
That was pick 4. Pick 5 was $5,500.
Right, so it comes for 50 cents. It only comes back a little under $1,400.
Was that the $2 price?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
That was a $2 price. Just shows you, because we were talking about how short some of these favorites were today.
Last two.
Goalie in this one. I mean, these horses were bet off the board, not only in the win pool, but in the multi races as well.
I would never have gotten to the last race.
Nearly impossible to get. You got to hit a couple of all buttons to get there, I think.
Yeah, would have the first winner. Would have the last two. I'm not thinking I would have been too clever in those other races. So the Cicada, I want to say the Cicada finished 3rd behind Whitmore and Ron, the Travers. I'm not sure, but I believe that's the case.
I believe that's accurate.
5-2 to 6-1 in here. Monchen, at least the same connections as Morello, coming back for her first start since breaking her maiden back in Saratoga. For your main man, your favorite trainer, Ray Handel.
You see those Blue Lion silks that Morello totes. Yeah, this is her. Speaking of Joelle Rosario, Joelle's aboard this day. She made mincemeat out of fellow New York breds. We have not seen her since this summer day up at the spa. She'll get Dylan Davis, the leading rider, going into this week here at the Big A for the winter meet. She'll get him in the saddle. You see Joelle just staying after her, keeping her mind on her business through the last 16th of a mile or so. We'll see how she handles the layoff. We talked about this earlier. 5-2, morning line favorite is Rosebud, the number 1.
Yeah, this
all
race,
the way to 6-1. That's it. That covers the entire lot of them.
And this race will be part of a cross-country pick 5, which involves, I believe, the 10th at Tampa, I think the 8th and 9th at Aqueduct, and both stakes, the 7th and 9th at Oaklawn as well. And I am looking forward to this one. I think there's some reasonable fillies. They're going to have to get faster as time goes on, but there's some talented fillies in that Cicada.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very open field.
Rosebud tried out Busan. They're going 9 furlongs last time. She'll cut back. Exaltress was a first-time starter that took some money for Chad Brown. She didn't handle the slop, came back, she broke her maiden. Yeah, it's a fun race. Mike Maker shipping in. Scarlet Lady, she won a money allowance
she looked
race
good
at
at
Oaklawn
Oaklawn last time. She feels like a big-time player in that race. Not the only stakes that will be showing on America's Day at the races, but a lot of races on Saturday's card. And the Essex, it's a bit of a rerun of the Racerback. Yeah. And all of these, of course, are prep for the Oaklawn Handicap, which will get tougher. You do have, though, the addition of Warrior's Charge in here, which changes it. Plainsman took it to Thomas Shelby, and they just battled around the racetrack last time with the long shot back to play, finishing 3rd.
Yeah, popular kid. The 1, 2, 3, 5 finishers. 5th place finisher being Rated R Superstar, who's won $650,000 in Hot Springs. Yeah, it's an interesting race. And then without Warrior's Charge, you add Warrior's Charge in, who, you know, despite being a stakes winner, I feel like has kind of been an underachiever most of his career. In the eyes of many, we'll see what he can, what he brings to the table.
Preakness, right?
I'm sorry?
Didn't he hit the board in the Preakness?
He did. Yeah, he did.
Well, he's been an underachiever the last couple of years. And it's interesting with him because his last race would probably win this race. But
he was 9-5 last time.
How reliable is he? Because he has not been consistent. I do think that Warrior's Charge is very interesting in here because he's going to be forward. And maybe with Thomas Shelby and him in there, is Joelle going to be as aggressive with Plainsman? And maybe Plainsman could be even better if he isn't forced to go after the number 1 Thomas Shelby. But I think Joelle has to go and make sure that Warrior's Charge is aggressive. It's a tricky chess game.
You said it best, right? What he did with the horse in the last race at Oaklawn today with Bryce. He kept Bryce close to the pace. He had his target. He'll, again, we're going to use this term again, he'll play the break. He will see just how aggressive Warrior's Charge and Florent Giroux are to go and keep Thomas Shelby company.
He's got to go.
But he's got to leave for some position, you would imagine. He's outside of the 2 speeds. He's outside of Thomas Shelby. He's outside of Warrior's Charge. Plainsman is. So he gets the bird's eye view. He gets the best view to see how it can unfold.
Or he's caught 3 wide in the first turn.
Well, that doesn't happen to Joelle a lot.
Okay. I think it's a very tricky race, an interesting race. Looking forward to talking about it on America's Day at the races Saturday. Of course, we have that Whitmore as well. The 6th race at Sam Houston is off the turf got a little bit of rain there, and they came off the turf. Anthony, I had big opinions for it on the turf. I have nothing on the dirt. How about you?
Well, the favorite looks the favorite kind of. I mean, I shouldn't even say the
1 and
favorite.
3
The horse who
came
I assume is going to be the favorite in here.
Who's that?
I thought the 4 Good Scout would be the favorite in here, didn't you?
No, I didn't have an opinion.
No, I'm sorry, the 6. I thought the 6, Bob's Bad Boy, would be the favorite in here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we take a quick look in our paper? I mean, That's a Fact Jack has had plenty of good races on the dirt before the 2. It's the problem is the last 2 races have not been good. And it does figure like That's a Fact Jack will get some pressure from the 4 Good Scout.
I'm a knucklehead, Andy. I thought the 6 would be favored on the turf. Yes, on the dirt, I would imagine that That's a Fact Jack, and he is. But on a day where we've seen a lot of overbet favorites, this horse who has some really good dirt form.
Which one?
The 2. That's a Fact Jack.
But the last 2 are not good efforts,
and
that has to be considered a concern. The edge in this race is the 6, Bob's Bad Boy. In all likelihood, has absolutely no chance in here. He doesn't appear to be a horse that can handle the dirt at all, and he's being bet because of his turf races. So I think the value for me in off the turf races, I start by saying, well, who's getting bet that can't handle the dirt? And that's horses like the 6 and 7. The 7's won on the dirt, but never run particularly good figures. Is much better on the turf. I'll tell you who can handle the turf. The dirt is the 7, Tin Badge. But is Tin Badge going to affect the 8 Tin Badge? Excuse me. So I'd probably be looking at horses like the 2, 4, and 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
The 5 can handle it too, by the way.
5 can handle it a little bit. Yes, the 5 has a sneaky good race at Remington Park, two good races, a decent race here at Sam Houston. The race at Lone Star off the turf last spring was okay. This horse has the race under his belt now for a barn that's going pretty well. It's an interesting race. I thought the 6 would be the clear-cut favorite on the turf. Or at the very least, the favorite on the
In my
turf.
opinion, he's a complete pitch in this
And
race.
he's a complete pitch now, but he's still the second choice.
Is JC's Nightcap a potential overlay in this race right now at 10-1?
Yes. I think he's the horse that you would try, even if you don't think he can win. He's the horse you need to try to get into the gimmicks here. I mean, he's the biggest price on the board. He should not be. Boy, I'll tell you what, you line up these 7 that are left in here after the scratches of the 1 and the 3, and you tell me that he's going to be the favorite. Now, I'll say this. The scratches certainly help. That's a Fact Jack.
But, well, why? Because the 4 was the speed on the dirt. On the turf, so why would the scratches help him?
Oh, I thought That's a Fact Jack was faster than the 4. I thought That's a Fact Jack would be in front in here.
Pace figures have these 2 horses extremely close, but you could be right. I'm not going to dispute it.
I thought That's a Fact Jack was a little bit quicker, and I thought that he would be in front, drawn inside, a little more urgency perhaps from Floyd Weathy Jr. because of the inside draw. So that's where I land in here now.
Are you not worried about his last 2 races?
I am. I absolutely am. But I think going 5 and under the circumstances now, hopefully he just needed hopefully, there was a little something nagging him 2 starts back, and now it comes back off the race last time. He can move forward off of that.
Okay. We're heading into the gate for the last race from Sam Houston. Our good friend Nick Tamero will have the call for the last race we'll be covering. They still have more action at Sam Houston. Let's get one more call on America's Day at the Races from Nick Tamero down at Sam Houston.
Tin Badge and Super Brady. Tin Badge and Leandro Goncalves move in. Super Brady to complete the lineup. He moves in, all set. And they're on their way. Tin Badge a half step slow. Super Brady broke well down at the inside. That's a Fact Jack has the most speed. Good Scout now going up to be alongside. JC's Nightcap is 3rd. Super Brady on the outside in 4th. Tin Badge is recovered to race in 5th on the outside of Bob's Bad Boy. Men of Kyle trails the field as they speed into the far turn. That's a Fact Jack with Good Scout in pursuit. They're 2 lengths in front of Super Brady, who tracks from 3rd. 4 lengths back to Bob's Bad Boy in 4th. Tin Badge has to go from 5th, has 2 behind Bob's Bad Boy, and at the back back of the pack is Men of Kyle. They're coming towards the top of the stretch. Good Scout has overhauled That's a Fact Jack. Good Scout grabs command off the far turn. Super Brady spying on them from third, getting a little bit closer, but Good Scout is hand-ridden towards the final furlong. Now asked to go by Lane Luzzy, has to finish the job a length and a half in front of Super Brady, who's getting closer. On the front end, Good Scout, wrong lead, trying to see it out. The outside, late run coming from Super Brady. Good Scout holding sway. Good Scout scores. Super Brady second. Then came JC's Nightcap and Men of Kyle.
Well, Lane Luzzy had quite a day here on America's Day at the Races, I believe. Is that correct?
That's Lane.
Number 4, Good Scout getting it done. Nice job by him.
Nice job sitting off the That's a Fact Jack. He was able to identify that this horse has kind of lost a step.
Lane Luzzy's on the 9, excuse me.
Oh, Lane was
that
on the 9.
That was Ernesto Valdez Jimenez, excuse me.
My long shot specialist. He was able to identify just being sitting off the speed of That's a Fact Jack, and was able to take a good trip and hold off Mr. Luzzy.
Well, Anthony, it was a lot of fun here.
Yes.
Enjoyed covering the races. We'll be doing this again next week. You and I will not be on. I think probably Greg and Maggie will be on, but they'll be covering Sam Houston and Oaklawn Park. But we'll be covering America's Day at the Races with Oaklawn and Aqueduct all weekend here. We appreciate you joining in. Hopefully you'll be joining us for the rest of the weekend. A lot of great racing coming up this weekend. Talked about the stake races, of course, coming up at Aqueduct, but also we saw Goalie. I think Goalie may be getting ready to try some more mile-and-a-half races after his performance today. A nice win for him, David Cohen, Robertino Diodoro. There he is, the old pro Whitmore, the champion sprinter 2 years ago. The race will be named for him tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Or, of course, Saturday. And Bob's Edge will be the favorite, looking to repeat his performance. Thanks for joining us. Have a wonderful evening.